Yeah.
What's up, my brother?
Not much. Just got done watching Friday Night SmackDown, where we got to boo the woo. And not only that, main event Jey Uso got kicked right in the face by Jimmy, his own brother tonight, bro.
Yeah, and then he kind of pushed him away, like "Don't touch me," and walked away, and
Like,
didn't even walk up to Paul either.
yeah, he was like, "Fuck you too." So I'm kind of
Like,
wondering what's going on with that. And then Cross fucking choked out AJ tonight.
yeah, and
Um,
then Scarlett sprayed him in the face with some mist or something.
yeah, something like red shit. And like, bro, honestly, tonight I'm gonna be honest here. Tonight was largely good. And then there was one thing, actually one person who killed the whole show. The entire show. And it was woo! Charlotte Flair.
Why? Why? Why?
Yo,
The
listen. What's up, Last Week in Wrestling Podcast? How you doing, brother?
I am like, bro. Oh my gosh, Asuka's okay. First off, she's got a new WWE Women's Championship, and it actually says Undisputed Championship.
Wait, it does?
Yeah, it said Undisputed, which I'm confused as shit.
That title wasn't disputed.
It did. I seen a picture online and it said Undisputed Women's Championship. It might not, like, I don't know if it said exactly. It might be just something else, but I did see that.
Good guys, how are y'all? I'm doing pretty good. I got a new dab rig and with new turp pearls and a new carb cap. Check this out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hate the belt look, and Charlotte doesn't need to be in the title picture. Thank you, bro. Okay, you know what? We're gonna get into this. I know we could do the show order by order, match by match, but this needs to be gotten out the way. Charlotte Flair is a fucking cancer to the women's division.
Yes. Speech. Allow it. Drink it in,
Like,
man.
bro,
Say it.
at
Say
least
the truth.
once a year since 2015, this woman has been women's champion at least once a year.
And
Every fucking time she goes away, the minute she comes back, she is in a title picture.
She
All right,
wins or she gets a title shot.
How many fucking titles has she held? What, 13?
Dude,
so
she's about to be 15 or 16.
And she has held so many titles, main evented so many shows. She don't need to be in the title picture. There is a lot of great upcoming women's wrestlers that could be in that spot. All right, Io Sky needs to be the one beating Asuka. She needs to be the one in that spot. Instead, we're giving it to Furtlet.
Dude, Asuka didn't even get to talk. She didn't even get to say a word until you hear the most awful music in all of professional wrestling. The most irritating women's wrestler right now that I know. Like, Charlotte is so cringe. She's about as bad as Ronda Rousey, bro. Keep them away.
Oh, Lousy Rousey sucks too. She can get the fuck off my TV at any point.
Bro, I don't get this company. Let's keep away people that are actually good, but you want to give me Charlotte Flair, who's only... She's really... Okay, she's a ripoff of her dad, bro. That's basically it. She's always wooing. I'm sick of the woos.
Yeah, and hey, brothers, what's going on,
up, Jordan?
Happy Friday. Happy Friday,
yes,
brother. God bless you. And Friday Night SmackDown was boring. It's a C, good match, but in the beginning and the end. And yeah, that's not needed. She's trying to keep her father's historic title reign, which is fine, but she should be earning her spot, not be given her an opportunity right off the bat. Exactly. And fucking not only that, the reason she's in the spot that she is because of her last name. Yes, I do believe that Charlotte Flair is one of the best women's wrestlers, no doubt about it. But at the same time, you've had your rub. You've had your time multiple times over. It would not kill you to put somebody else in the women's title spot. It would not kill you to be in a non-title storyline.
Let's bring up a Roxy or a freaking
Cora Jade.
Cora
fucking
Jade,
Io
someone
Sky.
new.
Dakota
Kai. Give Io Sky the shit. Like, come on, bro. Like, you gotta always keep going back to the same shit. She's worse than Roman Reigns. I'm saying it. Like, I'm saying it right now. I thought Roman was bad, man. No, Charlotte is still pushed to the moon. Half of us don't like her.
Charlotte Flair was Roman Reigns before Roman Reigns was Roman Reigns.
Yeah, man. It's just this. This show was, like you said, was pretty damn good in many ways, but this is just the most irritating thing about the whole show. I was so excited to know Asuka was getting a new title and all, and then the minute I heard that awful music, I cringed. I was like, no. And
so
then she accepted it.
Getting off Charlotte for a minute, I want to talk about this title. So currently, before the new title, Asuka is the Raw Women's Champion. Rhea is the SmackDown Women's Champion. All right, fine. But now, Asuka gets a new title. She relinquishes the Raw Women's title and is now being called the WWE Women's Champion. Now, how does that work? You have a Raw Women's Champion, a SmackDown Women's Champion, and now only one of them is the WWE Women's Champion.
And Charlotte was pointing at that other title that she wants it. So it's like, what do you?
Oh yeah, she said she wanted both of those titles, and that she don't need to wait in. She said she don't need to wait in line. She is the line.
What? Like, this is so like, this is Vince McMahon booking. I swear, bro. Like, this is for sure. You can. If it's not, then maybe it's Triple H. But it's like both of these guys. If it is, holy shit! What are you doing?
That's called good shit. Damn it! That's the kind of shit you want to tune into, pal. All right, all these other little NXT indie darlings fucking suck. So I had to bring back Charlotte Flair, pal. She brings ratings, damn it.
So awful, bro. And then that awful crowd just chanting her. Boo! They're wooing. I'm like, bro, you guys are fickle.
I thought it was piped. Can I be honest? I thought it was piped in.
I hope it was, man.
Like,
oh my
gosh. If it was actually genuine, I'm fucking surprised.
I told you, though, that you can tell when there's piped-in crowd noises. You don't see that in AEW, in Impact, in all these other wrestling shows I watch, but it's always Raw or SmackDown to certain people.
Right, and it may have not been. It may have not been. Fans are fickle like that. But fucking, at the same time, I'm like, there's no fucking way. You know what I mean?
I legit seen a report that said that she was coming back. My heart didn't want to believe it. And then I heard the music and I was like, no.
And you were like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, my dad's sitting there cheering.
Fuck out.
My dad's sitting there cheering and I'm there just like, my head's down. I'm like, bro, this nightmare is not getting any better. Remember how excited I was for Asuka's reign? No more. It's over.
I don't know if I can read this without getting us canceled, but you know what? I'm not the one who wrote it, so bear with me. It's rough of Sami Zayn and Jey Uso of this gay love story to see which he will choose how many years this horrible storyline will end. It's rough. It's too long.
It's not a horrible story. I love this story, man.
Right. I got to be honest. It was probably one of the best things about the whole show.
Yeah, and it's always the bloodline, man.
I gotta admit, they're killing it though. You might say that like Roman's held the title for too long and shit like that, but if you think about it, they're killing it.
Yeah, I agree, they are. But like another thing though, I love the bloodline and stuff. Like that's always good stuff because Jay also said that if Jay's in, Paul Heyman's out. So I was wondering about that.
Yeah, like what did he mean by that? If Jay's in, Paul's out.
Paul was like, "What? My tribal chief is gonna kick me out? No."
And fucking now I find this interesting too. At the end of the show, when Jimmy's already kicked Jay, Jake loses the title match. Fucking Paul Heyman looks at Jimmy and says, "Call Roman into the phone." Yeah. Like, what the fuck is going on, bro?
I swear, I feel like someone's swerving us. Someone's turning on the other one.
And
We
what
were
if
think
we end up getting it brother versus brother, Jimmy versus Jay?
I could see it. It would be interesting. It's just, do I want to really see it? No. I really would rather see the heart or no, I'd rather see the Usos go against Roman and Solo, but I wouldn't mind if they did that because it kind of would be something different. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know how do I feel about that honestly at the
Well,
moment.
see, what I would have done is this: you have Roman, you like you were saying, Roman and Solo versus the Usos. You have the Usos win, and fucking Solo getting pissed because fucking he took the pin. Now Roman's pushing him like a bitch, right? Like he does every time one of them lose. And fucking Solo snaps off Samoan, spikes him, and stands tall with the Usos.
Interesting.
And then it would also set up Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed title.
Interesting. Another thing
Mm-hmm.
though, did you notice how much NXT kind of was featured tonight?
I did, and I was wondering, are we getting a call up? Is this just to promote NXT, or what was the point of this? Because if it's for a call up and seeing Carmelo Hayes in that crowd, I'm like, okay.
I was fine with that, and but it's like I don't know, like what brand split though? This ain't a brand split, honestly. Like they keep bringing just random. Like honestly, it's not a brand split. I told you it wasn't, bro, and now for sure it's not.
Does it really bother you? Everybody crossing brands, going over here, over there, over
It
everywhere?
does because they said they were supposed to have a legit brand split, and once again they lie. I hate when they lie to us, man. We're fans.
You ever
man.
listen to Eddie Guerrero's theme song?
Okay, that's different. That's a wrestler. This is a company that's screwing over the fans every time when they say this is going to be the greatest freaking brand draft ever, and then it turns out not even a week, and there's already just superstars on different shows. Seth is defending the world title most likely on NXT, so it's like brand split. No, there's no brand split, man.
I agree, and God bless you, Jordan. Thank you, bro. And see, how is everything going with you? I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, bro?
It's been a good day. Besides Charlotte Flair ruining my freaking inning.
And yes, Charlotte Flair a break. Go to NXT, not to be NXT Women's Champion, but she just now see. Look, this is where I could agree. Not for her to be in the title picture over there, but she could put over other young upcoming women's wrestlers because she is really good in the ring, no doubt about it. So if you pass that knowledge on to a young upcoming, say Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, fucking Tiffany Stratton. I honestly think that you would do more good than harm by being in the women's title picture on the main roster.
Do you think she'll put them over though?
Fuck no. It's like Triple H in 2003.
I'm good. I'm not watching NXT.
And it's been a minute. Just picked up a part-time job on Monday and Tuesday, so it's so slow tonight at work, working 6 days a week now.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
up, Will Fettuccine 68? And I want you to know I'm proud of you, bro. Because I feel you. This is my first day off in about a week. And I've been doing 6 days a week for the last 2 months, honestly. And it's a pain in the ass. You don't have time for nothing. And you're always constantly working. Work. But I want you to know that the hard work pays off. All right? That hard work's going to pay off. And when you reap that reward, bro, for the seeds that you planted, you're going to know it was worth it. So I just want you to know to hang in there and that I'm proud of you.
Yes, sir.
And see, I had enough of soap opera of the bloodline in WWE. So sad the way the only thing they have going in with WWE is that why keep talking, keep this weak storyline. They ran out of ideas. WWE is a lifetime now. I like the storyline, bro. I don't see necessarily what's wrong with it. Yeah, it's been going on for 3 years, but the way it's evolved, and honestly, it built Sammy. It built the return of them reuniting with Kevin and Sammy. Solo Sikoa's got to rub off of it. The Usos have got to rub off of it. You know what I mean? Roman's definitely got a fucking rub off of it. I think it's helped so many people that it's kind of hard to say that, it's a bad storyline.
Yeah. Hey, bro, I don't mean to skip any comments, but
Uh-huh.
I want to get to this one really quick because
Would y'all mind if I... Oh, go ahead.
Would y'all mind if I joined to talk about some of these topics with y'all? Yes, sir, bro. Come on in.
Yeah, I'll send you the link right now. JoJo, you're going to keep going because it's going to put me out when I go to send the link.
All right, bet. I'll read these comments. Are we gonna? Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, are we gonna get a Braun Breaker versus Seth feud now? Most likely on NXT. I could see it, but I don't know. Braun Breaker's on NXT though, but we could. I'm blessed. My heart is clean. Thank God. I repeat no more simming. That's good news. I have bros. Yes, sir, man. I'm glad you're good.
I'm very proud of you, bro. And honestly, if you catch yourself sinning, repent. Sometimes, bro, I repent daily. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a work in progress. I'll be a work in progress to the day I die. As long as you ask for forgiveness and you try to step away from your sin and go on a right path, God's with you. So I'm proud of you.
Amen.
And what's
My
up?
guys, how are we?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing, brother?
How about you?
Good. Yeah, no, I just wanted to be on here for maybe 5 minutes of your time, just to talk about some of the topics you guys are talking about. But going back to the belt thing, honestly, to be very honest, I think that we need more or less a solo dolo. I don't really think for the women we need two belts that kind of oppose one another, in the sense of one's for SmackDown, one's for Raw, kind of like how we were doing it prior. If we go way back to WWF, WWE 2000,
just to chime real quick though,
sure.
Do you feel like going to one belt for the women would take an opportunity away from some of them?
No, because we would have a defending champion on a frequent basis, like we're having now with the World Heavyweight on Raw with Seth. I mean, Seth's now on his third title defense coming up in the next following weeks or so, and guaranteed it's not going to stop. I understand it to an extent if you're going to have two women representing two different brands, being okay, here's the ultimate one, which would be the women's heavyweight belt for, let's say, Raw, excuse me, and then, the Undisputed or whatnot for SmackDown. But then these people need to defend it. We can't be revealing new championship designs on a Friday night SmackDown or on a Monday night Raw instead of having a title opportunity or a gauntlet match for a number one contenders match for a Raw or a pay-per-view. Then it defeats the purpose of the belt. Roman, when he had two belts, he kind of became this ultimate god, where there was nobody that could touch him. There was so little amount of men in the division that had an opportunity, but then was unfortunately tossed and battered and beaten. Yeah, and rolled over and then just tossed to the side. And now who does he have? He's beat Cody. He's beat everybody. I think next probably maybe Ronald McDonald, the Jaws, or God, or, somebody along that nature. Honestly, who is really left for Roman to beat?
How do you feel about them calling it the WWE Women's Championship, knowing that we just had a Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship? What does this mean for Rhea now? And would you have rather them debut that title, say at maybe a Survivor Series, right? It's usually Raw versus SmackDown anyways. And then you have them unify the titles into the WWE Women's Championship.
See, it's a little bit of a tricky question. Because if we did unify them, then it does bring up, to your point, how often are we going to get title defenses? How many unfortunate women who definitely deserve it, like Jojo was saying, a Roxanne Perez, Zoe Stark, anybody coming up from the NXT, where do they now fall in line, especially with the draft? Like, it becomes a difficult question to answer. But I think at the same time, if we did have the belt split the way that we have them now, and we did have, I guess what is happening, I should say, a one for SmackDown, one for Raw type of thing, kind of like how we have Roman has one final belt now, finally, instead of two, and, we have one belt for Raw. Now I think more or less like it becomes this concept of who becomes the challengers. Are we going to be pushing the Shotzi's of the world, the Nikki Crosses, the Lacey Evans, the Mia Yims, the Zoe Starks, the Roxanne Perez's? When, and if so, when, and against who, and how are we doing that? I kind of like the idea of the unification of the tag team. That might be a nice trial set between Ronda and Shayna, and of course, Isla and the other lady. I can't remember her name. Honestly, I think that might be a good. Yeah, thank you. I think it might be a good way to try out a unification type of belt for the WWE. But then does that eliminate the NXT one? Does that now eliminate the women's division for the NXT? There's a lot more. I feel like with unificating, there's a lot more questions than answers compared to just what we want, which is just answers. So it's a little harder to say, let's just unify them. Let's make them all one belt. Let's do this. Let's do that, because it's easier. Absolutely. It's less headache. It's a less problem. It's maybe a less time that we got to see a lot of these people. But then we have to realize if there's one champion, that means they're on two shows. That means then the draft means nothing, and there is no point to it. So, again, there's a lot more questions than answers, unfortunately, for that. But I don't know. In my opinion,
with the question, so like this is the weird question, I guess, is like, why are we calling this belt the WWE Women's Championship when Rhea still has the SmackDown Women's Championship? Is she gonna get like the Women's World Heavyweight Championship?
Well, that's what's in talks. So I guess what I have read, and me, Wolf, and Willie over for what we all do over there, we all have been kind of reading and looking into all of this. And, the big announcement was, Asuka was going to get a new belt tonight. And that's what happened. And good. It looks disgusting. I hate the fucking color. I think it looks like an ugly-ass SpongeBob belt with, like, jeweled bullshit-ass diamonds in the middle. Like, it looks absolute garbage. They need to try it over again. But now we have one belt. And that's one belt, and it seems to be only for SmackDown. And, a little, not really a side tangent, but a side note, I guess, when we revealed the World Heavyweight Championship, and we all remember when we heard Triple H revealing it, saying, hey, this is going to be a belt that's going to be defended, a champion that will defend this belt on a weekly and monthly basis. This isn't going to be Roman Reigns' reign, where one match, then he can go on to Tahiti for 3 months and then come back for another big paycheck, beat him, go to fucking Ireland, the next 6 months or whatever. It's, okay, Seth won it, Night of Champions. Monday night, he had to defend it. Perfect. Now Monday night comes, he's probably going to defend it again. It looks like he's going to NXT to defend it against Braun Breaker. So that, to me, is a good fighting champion, a champion that's willing to go to the multiple brands of the WWE to prove that he's a worthy champion. Go ahead.
So, like, my problem with this, and this is where I think I have to agree with JoJo, this draft really doesn't mean shit because, like, we've already seen a lot of people from brand to brand crisscrossing. But now with this title, the World Heavyweight title that was debuted, it was supposed to be for Raw only, not only in the tournament that we first had. We had SmackDown people involved. Now this title could potentially, it's not confirmed yet, but Braun Breaker did call out Seth Rollins. So we have this potentially going over to NXT. And so it kind of seems like everything they said was absolute bullshit.
Correct.
And that's what Triple H said himself. He said this is staying on Raw for Raw superstars only. So it's like they lied. He lied.
Yeah,
lied.
and I think that's where Triple H went wrong. You know, if he wanted to do a draft and then have budget cuts a month later, I think he should have just did the budget cuts and cut more people than doing this whole 2-day, 3-day, whatever draft, then Backlash, then kind of meshing the brands together anyway, then dropping people to NXT, then having NXT come to WWE like we saw tonight with like Carmelo and Trick Williams, you know, and I thought Baron was on NXT, but yet he had a qualifying match for the
Ali too, bro.
Yeah, and Ali, like, you know, those decisions don't make sense when you then go ahead and say, we're gonna have a draft, it's gonna split the brands, this is how it's going to be, this is what we want it to be. So, you know, then we asked ourselves, or we asked everybody else, who decided this was the idea? Was it Triple H? Was it Vince? Was it Nick Khan? Was it all three of them? Was this the whole ploy to make us seem like we're supposed to be happy now? Like, hey, here's the draft that you wanted, but it's not really going to be the way that you wanted. We just are not going to tell you that. We're going to make you believe that it's going to be the thing you wanted, but it's not going to be that, though. Because by the way, we're going to have Braun, and then we're going to have Trick and Carmelo, and then we're going to have Mustafa and Baron go down. But, like, people going down at NXT, like a Baron Corbin, like a Mustafa Ali, isn't really a loss in my eyes. I think it's a win for the NXT brand, because now they're going to have their superstars that are either gearing up to be that next jump, which will be to the WWE, the AAA now of the wrestling division, if you want to call it that, have some type of work with professionals in the WWE. It's going to be different type of bumps, a lot more physicality, a lot more different move sets and stuff. It's a whole different type of now promos they got to work on and all of this stuff to prepare themselves. Now the WWE audience, because if you think about it, the WWE audience compared to the NXT audience are two different sets of audiences. The NXT is a lot more smaller, in-house, homegrown talent that is shape-shifting and creating and building new ideas and new dreams and new promos and being able to grow their own wrestling idealisms. But then you have the WWE, where it's still kind of run by people ahead of you or bigger than you. The leaders in the locker room kind of have a say in your writing per se. You know, Sean kind of lets the NXT wrestlers and superstars do a lot more and be a lot more free than what you would have with like a Raw or a SmackDown. So it's
I agree, but
go ahead.
I agree with you, but I think this is the beautiful thing with like an Ali, Baron Corbin going down. You remember in NXT, the original, what made that so good was all these guys were already 10-year vets, just about damn near. And they were just now getting a spotlight to shine in what was basically WWE's indie show. And, you know, and the fans grew so passionate on it. If you look in some week to weeks, like 2014 NXT, you can see the same fans in the audience week to week.
Correct.
And so they were very passionate about that. And then when it became NXT 2.0, all of the experienced guys, you know, they were part of the budget cuts, and it seemed to be a lot of Triple H's guys that were in that. Yeah. However, when Vince started hiring for NXT 2.0, you know, it wasn't so much about being an experienced wrestler. It was kids fresh out of college who didn't make the NFL. It was models. It was fucking so many other things. And I think what made And what made the product so hard to watch was you don't have any experienced wrestlers on the show now. So if you bring an Ali, you bring a Baron Corbin, or like I was saying earlier, you bring Charlotte Flair to help the women's division down there. You're taking these inexperienced women and putting them with experienced workers to make them better overall performers.
And what's also nice, and what's also really nice about that as well, to your point, Brandon, is like, these guys like Mustafa Baron got their start in NXT.
Yeah.
So they know the NXT locker room. They know the NXT audience. They know the NXT way. Now, also, they have the way of WWE, and same with Charlotte. So it gives these women and men an opportunity, a leg up in the competition to make themselves look even better to the Vinces, to the Triple H's, to the Nick Khans of the world, and being like, wow, okay, so not only has he or she proven themselves to, the 10,000 people or whatever in the stands, and of course on the pay-per-views and everything and home and whatnot, but they've also worked with experienced WWE superstars as well, and they put on 3 out of 5 performances, 4 out of 5 performances, 5 out of 5 matches. So that does give them that leg up on the competition, and of course being selected next to being moved to then the WWE, to the main roster. So,
Exactly. And I think, how 2015, right? 2016, there was a lot of NXT call-ups at the time, but they ultimately failed because they, in Vince's mind, wrestled too much like independent wrestlers rather than what he thought a WWE superstar should be. And we've seen so many guys come and go because of that. So now having, like, say, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, and them who have, in their own right, to some degree, succeeded on the main roster at a point in time, they can go take that down to the NXT guys, so when they're coming up, they don't necessarily fail.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think you hit it right on the head. Honestly, I think that, it makes sense to shuffle those type of people that are either not being utilized in the WWE or not really being, given opportunities to try out, championship feuds or feuds in general, or having good gimmicks that are landing with the public and everything like that. I mean, look at Corbin, Corbin being a very good example, or even Mustafa Ali. We had Happy Corbin from Lone Wolf Corbin, mind you.
That was mine. I love
man who was a ravenous fucking fighter who didn't give a shit about nobody else and became a champion, wore that championship with pride, then goes up to WWE, and now he's Happy Corbin. He's shaved head. He's won $1 million. Right. He becomes this like jackpot winner. And we're all like, okay, let's give it a try, because we all still know him as the Lone Wolf, but it doesn't stick. Then he goes King Corbin, and King Corbin gets absolutely worse. So everyone's like, okay, please bring him back to at least Happy Corbin. Then it goes to Sand Corbin because he lost it all. Then that was almost pitiful. We felt bad for the poor guy because now he's like, Jesus, everybody doesn't even like him. So like, all right, let's try maybe something else. Let's bring him back to Happy Corbin. And it was like, okay, now it's just not working. Like, what other emotions are going to be like? Deceased
Wrestling
Corbin?
God Corbin.
Yeah, upset Corbin again, But then with Mustafa Ali, you go from Mr. Positivity to then Mr. Negative. And I'm like, but wait, how did we get there? When did you become a Spider-Man villain in the midst of the making? I don't understand how that correlated with one another. So, pushing them down to NXT made sense because now they can wrestle. They're just Mustafa Ali and Baron Corbin again. They're not these gimmicks that WWE pushes down their throat, pushes into our faces each and every week. They're just Mustafa Ali and Baron Corbin. They're the talented wrestlers who we all loved, who we all wanted to see anyway, and have opportunities to have good feuds, good matches, good title opportunities even down the road, and, so on and so forth. But, going to Charlotte Flair quickly, we all have to admit it. Charlotte Flair, of course, is one of the starters of the 4 Horsewomen with Charlotte, Bianca, Becky, all of them. Like, they created something that still lives on in the NXT community, is still talked about in the NXT community, no matter what. Charlotte has had an amazing women's career in general. Okay, she's had an amazing WWE career in general. As time has aged her, and the aging of wrestling has aged her as well, she has become less and less enjoyable as a wrestler. Not really due to the fact that she's a flair, for me at least, but it's just like it's becoming predictable, like
She's
Roman Reigns, like you
too
both
much.
were saying before. Yeah, it's like she can't just jump in the front of the line because she's Charlotte Flair. Like, I understand
Exactly.
she's Charlotte Flair. She can't, you know, she can't just leave, go get married, have a honeymoon, consider having babies, do this photo shoot modeling thing, be like, oh, they made a new belt? I'm going to come back now. No. That's not how this works, lady. Like, you know, you left for 6, 7, 8 months. Now you got to come back. You got to, like, to me, this is how I feel for, like, legends. Like, for Trish Stratus, even. Trish did an amazing job being a WWF, WWE superstar. She's a legendary wrestling superstar in the women's division. Nobody can beat that. I'll never say nothing negative about that. But you can't just come back and get what you want because you're Trish Stratus. You can't come back and get what you want because you're Charlotte Flair. I understand that your name precedes the legacy, and yeah, Vince is, you know, on his knees for Ric Flair for the rest of his life. But, you know, you can't do that because now you're taking opportunities away from other women that are either being overshadowed, overlooked, or not utilized, or not used at all in these divisions. Then there's no point in bringing up these NXT ladies. There's no point in bringing up these NXT guys. If, you know, let's say Cody Rhodes' father was still alive and he decided to come back to face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, and because he's Dusty Rhodes, he deserves to be the front of the line. No, buddy. No. Prove to us that you still have some wherewithal to wrestle at a semi-decent caliber of a Seth Rollins or a semi-decent caliber of a Bianca or Becky or, you know, an Asuka. And then maybe after a few matches, then we can talk about a title opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. And I want to ask you this. And I actually want to ask you both this. How do you feel as regard as, like, how much influence do you think Vince McMahon has had since coming back to the company, where we see in the creative show week to week?
I'll let JoJo answer because I've been talking for a minute. So
there's times I can really tell that Vince is running something like that. Charlotte and Asuka segment, I can tell for sure that he was around that. He for sure did that. There's no way I don't think Triple H would have booked that. Like, I think he would have made Asuka look stronger, but man, like, Asuka looked like shit. She got beat up. She got her whole moment taken away. She didn't even get to say nothing. She went to talk, and then the music went off. And it was
kind of like when Ronda debuted.
Yeah, that's another one. It's like
I'm not a Ronda Rousey fan at all.
Same. Fucking hate Lousy Rousey.
She should just only be in the UFC. But there's a reason why I don't like Ronda Rousey. I liked her in the beginning. I was like, okay, let's see. You know, she's a UFC fighter. She does have some wrestling type of training. You know, maybe she can hold herself in the ring. And then, of course, she went on a talk show or whatever and said that the business was fake. And, you know, she doesn't have time to now cook breakfast for her husband anymore. And pretty much cried. That's when I lost all respect for Ronda Rousey. Because not only did you go out there and embarrass yourself, but you're wearing the company gold. And you're also talking shit about the company right there on live television. So you lost my respect there, and I'm sorry, but you can't get it back because you can't go out there. Yeah, you can't go out there and go, oh my God, I didn't know that this was going to be as fake as it was, and that I'm only going to be able to work 6 months. 6 months. Mind you, not 12, not 11, not 10, not 300 and something days, not 200 and something days, roughly 6 months out of the year, and you can't cook for your husband anymore breakfast because you're tired. I don't want to hear none of your shit. Go back to the UFC and get your ass kicked, and that's that. All right, please. Like, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of my ring. Go back to the octagon with Dana White and go get your ass kicked. I'm done. I can't. I'm done. I really can't with you.
But she's boring, bro. She's completely
and she's boring. And she also is a big person. She's also someone that does hurt a lot of the women. You know, she is someone that is a little bit unsafe. And then, you know, do you blame the fact that she's a UFC fighter first, then a wrestler first, kind of, sort of, because she is used to wrestling in a more of a combative way than a non-combative way? Because wrestling, like, you know, let's be frank here real quick. WWE is a, you know, choreographed sport that these men and women do amazing stunts that are choreographed to a point so that none of them actually get hurt. When you involve people in the boxing world, in the UFC world, whose brain has been trained to be break an arm, break a leg, I can put you in a submission hold, I can tap you out with 2 fingers, you know, going against someone that's, you know, hasn't wrestled that way, doesn't perform that way, never trained that way, facing someone that's that way, who hasn't really trained the way WWE is, or rushed training just to push her, you know, then you blame, you know, you can blame whoever. But to the point being, Ronda is not a safe worker compared to a lot of other women that are there who have been there for a moment's time and you know, has done a quick stint in the WWE. But go ahead, Brandon. I know I was cutting you off, so.
Oh, you're all good. What I was going to tell you, brother, is that I don't necessarily know if I can agree with that as far as, like, you're coming from an actual combative sport to a more choreographed sport, and therefore your brain can't recollect how to keep somebody safe in the ring. Because look, Kurt Angle, he is, to me, one of the greatest pro wrestlers to ever grace a ring. And he has an Olympic background, and he had never really grew up as a pro wrestling fan. Correct. He was an amateur wrestler. So if saying that Kurt Angle can keep people safe while putting on a 5-star match, and he came from a combative world with no background as a fan whatsoever of this sport, then to me, and Shayna Baszler too, she was an MMA fighter. Bobby Lashley, like, he was a wrestler in the Army, and then he was an MMA fighter. He can still keep guys safe. So to me, even Brock Lesnar, like, I know his matches kind of suck and they're the same, but
he also comes from a wrestling background, right?
Right, and so he has a legitimate wrestling background. He's a legitimate UFC fighter. Fucking, he ran a football field in Olympic time with a torn groin. All right, and you know, he's a beast in every sense of the word. But he has never put somebody into a place of retirement. Well, Hardcore Holly, but he came back. So, but, you know, still, for the most part, Brock Lesnar has never hurt nobody. So to me, if all these guys and girls who have been in the industry for outside places, where's Ronda's excuse?
She's just awful, bro.
I agree. I don't, you know, like I said, I think that, you know, there's a little blame that goes around for all of it, honestly. I think that, you know, to your point, Brandon, yes, you know, all of these other people could do it. Why can't she do it? I think also it makes it seem like she doesn't really care to learn. You know, maybe this time around is different, but the times she's been around weren't. You know, money talks. Like, we all know.
Would you call Bad Bunny an athlete?
I would consider him
as far as athletic ability.
He can do a lot of
But what I mean is, would if you not from anything we've seen in the ring, I'm talking about if you looked at him.
I would only know him for his music. I would never consider him. I mean, I consider him maybe athletic, maybe run a race or something. But I don't think I could see him doing. If you took, like, when they said Bad Bunny was going to wrestle, I laughed. I go, great. We're going to have a musician break his neck on the turnbuckle, on live television, or on a fucking pay-per-view, and we're going to see a man get paralyzed.
Right.
But he
in
hasn't
return,
done that.
right,
You know,
because in return he put on a, like, go to Priest, he put on a really good match.
Amazing
Now, this
match.
is a guy who was not a UFC fighter. He's not an Olympian. He's a singer. He's a performer.
But he took
How
the
is
training
it that he's
personally.
putting? He never hurt nobody. Like, you
Right.
know what I mean? How is it that he's keeping people safe and putting on a good, decent match?
It's because
But
he's
yet
taking
Ronda
the training
Rousey, who's an
seriously.
athlete, can't.
He's taking the training seriously. That's the other thing is when you listen to Bad Bunny's a fan. He's been a wrestling fan since day one. So he's known this business prior to jumping into his profession. So he kind of understands what's going on in the ring from the WWF era, which is good. You have some type of knowledge, at least, of what's going on. You know that it's choreographed. You know that this is stunts. You know that there's a lot of athleticism and training that goes behind doing the things that we do. Okay, great, good. But he took the training seriously. And that's the difference that separates him from Ronda. And it also does the same for Logan. Now, I'm not a Logan Paul fan at all in the slightest, but he takes the training seriously. I know you are, but he takes the training seriously. And to me, that's a win. If you're going to come into this sport, if you're going to come into this thing of ours, and you're not going to take the training seriously, and you get hurt, guess what? That's on you. That's not on us. We gave you 3-month training of all the tough enough sessions that we could possibly throw at you, and you wanted to play footsie, then that's on you. That's not on us.
You know, and that's what I was telling JoJo, you know, with Bad Bunny's case, right? He's a celebrity. If he said, for example, with Damian Priest in Puerto Rico, I want to have a 5-minute squash match. I really don't want to take a lot of bumps. Bad Bunny could have done so. He is a multi-millionaire singer and performer. He's probably, let's be honest, worth more than what they're going to pay him. And fucking, you know, and he didn't do that. What he ended up doing was, and it's, you know, reported by the guys in the back and himself, he was in the performance center and he was training every chance he got when he wasn't doing media events and concerts. So the fact that, you know, as busy as he is, as big of a name as he is, you know, he still took the time to train. He respected this enough to do so.
And the same goes for Logan Paul. He did the same thing. I don't like the guy. I don't. I know it sounds like I like the guy by saying he did the same thing, but he did the same thing. But he did though, you know. But that's the point we're making. Is
right, because you don't like him, respect him.
Right. If you're not going to take the time out to learn this business inside and out, then do not come here expecting to be something than just a one-time 15-minute of fame jabroni. Honestly. Exactly. Don't. If you're going to say, listen, I did this media thing, I did all of this, I got about 2 hours, let's train. Okay, great. Now I'm going to take you a little more seriously. Because then when you want to do things like how Logan Paul and Ricochet coordinated that fucking side-by-side lariat, that was insane. That was insane. I didn't like the guy. I didn't even want to like the move. So I was like, I don't like that shit. Fuck that shit. But, you know, I'm sitting back and I'm like, damn, that was really good. You know? But to him,
I think I agree with you. I agree with you in the sense of this. I don't like Logan Paul as a person, right? For example, the thing with Japan, that was bullshit. Kicking his best friend off his podcast and making fun of him before he kicked him off for believing in Jesus. You know, that was fucked. And he's made his friends do stupid shit. He's ratted people out. His brother's a fuckboy. There's a lot of reasons to hate the Paul brothers. No doubt about it. But I respect the talent. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't watch Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul and not go, holy fuck.
Well, that's crazy
Logan
to think, bro.
put him through some ringers. Logan put some ringers on Roman Reigns. It was a good match. You can't say it wasn't. Like, it was a good match. His match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania was a good match. Forget the prime drink. Forget his friends. Forget all that other bullshit gimmick. It was a good match. He took the time to learn something out of his element and perfect it to the best that he could and make it worthy of a highlight reel to this day. Yes. So I commend him for that. But outside of the ring,
I respect him more than Kim Kardashian. Remember she was on WrestleMania.
Kim Kardashian, come on, no one can really respect her. Let's be honest here. We can go right now on the internet. We can see her. No one's respecting her. All right.
She got famous for being on her back, but fucking, she's at WrestleMania 24. All she has to do
reminds me of that Parks and Rec joke. The come on the back joke.
All she has to do is talk about the Money in the Bank ladder match. And fucking, it sounds like, when somebody just feels so fucking robotic, like a Joe Biden speech where it feels like he's reading something. Fucking, that's how it was. So, this is the Money in the Bank ladder match. 6 people will compete, and they're going to climb up the ladder to grab the briefcase, and they have up to a year to cash in. And I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah. I was there.
You probably fell asleep. I would have fell asleep.
I was like, who is this? I seen her on the Tron.
I hate those kind of celebrities. So when I hear, keep celebrities out of the business, no. Keep the celebrities who don't give a fuck about the business out of the business.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here. Donald Trump and Vince McMahon had a good little feud. All right? Whether you're politics or not, it was still funny to watch 2 grown-ass geriatric senior citizens attack each other on the side of the ring.
That was
for
funny.
That 5-10 minutes. Honestly, I would pay to watch that again. I'd pay to watch that. Because that, to me, that's funny. Now, that was funny. Do I want to see Donald Trump running around with a belt? No. No. Let's not get crazy here, people. We're not going to have him, please. No,
Does it bother
who's going to face? Joe Biden? That's it. That's all. You know what I mean? Right, exactly. So, you know what I mean? It's just, no thank you. But that little Vince and him segment was hilarious and perfect. But
does it bother you at all that Donald Trump's in the Hall of Fame before John Cena, Randy Orton, Christian, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy,
Batista?
Oh, yeah, Batista's not in there yet, but Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, Donald Trump are in the Hall of Fame. But these names
are going in there. I don't think the Bellas are going in there now that they changed their names to Garcia. I don't know if they're going in there.
Why did they start shitting on the company all of a sudden? I don't get that.
Well, so remember Raw 30?
Yeah.
Okay. So Raw 30, they were going to come out and, either be talked about or whatever. They were going to come out and say hi or some shit. I don't know. They're going to do the Bella thing. So they were going to do the Bella thing on Raw 30. And when they wanted to talk about Sasha Banks and Trinity and the 4 horsewomen, which is something they were all kind of a part of all of that. Right. Not with Trinity, but I think they just wanted to talk about Trinity about something anyway, because they were happy when Trinity left as well as Sasha left for, more money, better respect, better management and all of that stuff. So they wanted to bring up those names and stuff. And Triple H said no. And since Triple H said no, they said, well, then we're not coming. And then because they said they weren't going to come, They felt very offended still, so then they changed their names to the Garcias.
But,
So,
here's my thing about this. This company gave them 3 reality TV shows. This company fucking helped their Birdie B line get over. They helped their wine fucking line get over. The WWE had a helping hand on all these things. Plus, fucking Nikki Bella getting the push of a lifetime because she was with John Cena. It's like, you can't tell me that out of any woman to ever grace this ring, there was no woman that benefited more than the Bella Twins. And so for them to disrespect this company just because they didn't get their way, to me, that's fucking bullshit.
Well, that's what happened. Listen, if I was the Bella Twins manager, I would have told them, hey, listen, you're a bunch of banana heads. Just get over it. Just go out there, collect your paycheck, and then go home. You want to write in your journal about them. You want to talk about them after you collected the money and the check clears. Go ahead. But till then happens, don't say anything. Just be like, no problem. Go out there and do your thing. That's it. You know what I mean? Because, like Kurt, like all the other ones, they were all offered a lot of money just to go out there for the one fucking episode. So, it's just like, come on. It's ridiculous. But, I
will agree. If we go back to the Divas era, I'll never forget the Stone Cold podcast where Sasha Banks said, "When I was in training before Brooklyn, right before Bayley versus Sasha, the men did not want us doing over-the-top dives. They didn't want us doing table spots because they were afraid it would take from them." And not only that, they were trained not to throw punches, but to slap and pull hair like a diva. So, when a lot of people talk about the women at that time couldn't wrestle, a part of me goes, well, they were never really trained to, and as well as there were limitations on a women's match, 2-3 minutes, and not only that, if you weren't sexy as hell and had fake tits, you weren't getting put on the show. And I can tell you this because look at what AJ Lee said in an interview. They said, why no one would ever want to fuck you. And it's like, okay, why the fuck are you telling her this? We're not here putting her in matches and having her win titles so people can fuck her. Or she's a great women's wrestler. That's why she's in the position that she's in. So for me, looking at what the company was and probably still is to some degree, I can say, okay, yeah, the Bella Twins, they had their right because I'm sure they went through some bullshit like that as well. However, it's just like this company also gave you a lot. So it's really hard for me to agree with them and then disagree with them at the same time.
Yeah, it's a little bit of give and take.
Honestly, though,
go ahead.
Honestly, though, AJ Lee was one of my favorites from that time. She spoke her mind when she said that promo back in 2013. I forgot exactly what she said, but she basically called them when she was talking about them being fake ass bitches and that they all want to be divas, and that they're all and they want to do their reality shows, but all she wants is this. And they couldn't lace her boots, basically, bro. She put them on spot, man. They
That's
all
funny.
Looked at her so pissed. Love AJ, man.
But
AJ's
and that's kind of like with CM Punk and his gripe with The Rock, and a lot of the other things that were happening to him in the WWE. When you have talented performers who are going out there 300 plus days out of the year, only home maybe 2 weeks out of the year for family time or just to recover, and then getting told you're still not main event material. You can't main event WrestleMania. You can't main event Money in the Bank. You can't main event this. Can't main event that. You can't start the show this. You can't start this. You start taking it a little personal. It's like, but I'm having 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 matches when your main eventers are having 3 out of 5 matches. So
Right.
where is the lie? Where's my opportunity? If you know I beat The Undertaker, or I had a match against Brock, or I had such and such match against somebody at or a match before the main event, or 2 matches before the main event, and my match is still being talked about during the main event, after the main event, people are talking about it on the internet. They don't even give a fuck about John Cena at this time. Like, why are you not giving me the opportunity? Why are you not telling them, hey, listen, why don't we give, John the Baptist back there or whatever, his opportunity now to go out there and, face John Cena at WrestleMania or something.
It reminds me of Dolph Ziggler's promo in 2016. And he talked about sometimes you can give, and sometimes you get nothing. You get nothing in return. And I kind of actually find it real quick. I want to play this because when he's speaking this, it's so true. Because if you think about a guy, to me, who should have really went over and should have had his moment, it's Dolph Ziggler. And yet, despite even making Goldberg look fucking good at a SummerSlam when he ate those spears like a champion, he's never going to get his moment. Despite how many people he can put over, he will never get his moment.
Look at Shelton Benjamin. Him and Shawn Michaels' match still is being talked about today.
Yes.
And we're 10 years over.
I actually seen Shelton Benjamin's return to SmackDown back in 2016 or 17, and he got such a huge pop. Like, that place exploded.
He should have been a world champion.
He was underrated, bro. That's like, he was the MVP.
The best we did for him was an IC belt and a tag belt.
He should have been
world champion. Pathetic.
Bullshit. He should have been a US champ. He should have been a world champ or an undisputed.
The dude had it. The dude had it.
And to me, that's just where, once again, this company is just such fucking bullshit. They push the guy like, a Ronda Rousey who hasn't earned shit and doesn't even give a fuck about this. And then you have, your Zigglers, your Ali's, somebody who's willing to die for this. And you don't want to give them their due. And this is the promo that I'm talking about real quick, and I just want to play it because to me it's the truest fucking shit I've ever heard.
This is all I have. This couple minutes a night, 300 nights a year, this is my everything. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone when they know that I live for this. This is what I love, but you know what? Sometimes things you love don't always love you back. And you can give, 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 and sometimes you get nothing in return. You get nothing. And you have friends and family and fans coming up to you telling you, why do you still do it? Why are you still here? Why do you subject yourself to this every night? It's because I can't stop. I can't. It's a sickness. I can't stop. And maybe my career didn't always turn out the way I thought it would, I thought it would have been better. I thought I earned something. I thought I would be a bigger star, but you know what? I just can't stop myself. I can't.
I felt all that.
Yeah, it's the truth. And, it's going to happen now to LA Knight as well. If we don't, me, Willie, and Wolf, we were just talking about this after the show today, on live, and we were saying, like, if LA Knight doesn't win this Money in the Bank, and there is nothing for him immediately after, a feud with Austin Theory or, a tag team opportunity, something of a belt type of contendership, he's done. There is nothing for him. There is nothing for him there. But
I'm saying this.
if he wins and he loses, to Seth or something, it's a trial. And I think then people are going to be like, you know what, though? Even though he lost, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5 even. It was an amazing match. The promos were great. this, that, and the third. The pay-per-view was amazing to watch. I'll never forget it. Great. But if he doesn't win and there is nothing for him after immediately, he's done. There's nothing left for him. And that's what's stuck. Because if it's Vince's decision or it's Triple H's decision or it's Nick Khan's decision, what's going to happen is that if the next night, the next Friday night SmackDown comes and LA Knight doesn't get that opportunity, he doesn't turn face like Wolf was saying, and he goes after Austin Theory for the United States belt, and he just goes out there and he does a promo or whatever, the crowd is going to be piped in because it'll be silent in the arena. And it will be nothing for him. It's not his fault. And he has to realize that it's not his fault. And he knows it's not his fault because he was Eli Drake and he was an amazing champion. He was an NXT Money in the Bank. He was I don't think he was an NXT champion, but he was a champion in some aspect of NXT.
He was the $1 million champion.
He was the $1 million champion. He was an amazing fighter in TNA. He was an amazing fighter in fucking NXT. Look where he's at now. He's on top of the food chain. He broke away from the maximum male model gimmick, and now he's LA Knight, and he's doing the best work he's ever done right now in the WWE, and the WWE knows that. But if he comes out that Friday night, it is going to be to silence if there is nothing for him to latch on to immediately, because then all three of them have lost one of the biggest stars that they could have had, that could have, like Cameron Grimes would say, go straight to the moon and break the moon and go straight through the atmosphere and be one of the best champions, whether it's United States, whether it's IC, whether it's tag team, whether it's world heavyweight or regular champion. Hell, he wants to go ahead and put on a dress and fight Charlotte Flair or fucking Rhea Ripley. Go right ahead. He needs a belt of some type of fucking caliber, because if this man doesn't get a goddamn belt, then they have missed one of the biggest mistakes of their whole entire profession. And I hope to God that he realizes that they lost out and he gives them nothing in return, and he goes to either TNA, he goes to AEW, or he goes to like GCW and works his way up through the hardcore independent scene and doing his gimmick, doing all of that shit too. Because LA Knight deserves gold. We all know that. We're all fans of him. We don't like not seeing him on TV, whether he wins a match, whether he loses a match, whether he's cutting promos, whether he's backstage yelling at fucking Kathy Kelly, whatever it may be. When it's LA Knights on the screen, we're tuned in. We're fans. We're ready to see it. And what we want to see next is a LA Knight championship reign. I don't even care if it's the United States. That's fine. I'm okay with it. That's not a bad belt to start off with. I'm also okay with him winning a tag team belt if we can find him a partner that's somewhat coincides with him. But you can't just be like, oh, well, LA Knight's great, but, I don't know if he's championship material. Like, do you guys really believe that? Because that's all bigger people talking. That's not us talking. We'll pick him whatever fucking belt we could give him. We don't want Seth to lose, but if it's LA Knight, it's not a bad loss.
What I would do, and I don't know the chances of this happening. All right, I don't know the chances of this happening, but I'm telling you, this is what I would do. All right, you would have at Money in the Bank, because to me, I don't give a fuck who you put in that ladder match. There's only one option. All right, and that's the megastar, LA Knight. Yeah. All right, and you need to have him cash in on Seth Rollins, because he's not going to beat Roman. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. All right, but if you have him cash in on Rollins, you can go ahead and do something there to where Rollins loses, and you could even have them in a feud for like 1 or 2 pay-per-views. Have fucking LA Knight go over them both times. All right, and then that's going to set him up as an actual main eventer. And then fucking from there, I would go ahead and put LA Knight in a feud with Drew McIntyre. All right? And fucking, I know Drew McIntyre gets fucked a lot, and I'm sorry. But LA Knight goes over. And
Yeah.
fucking, you're going to really build him up for the next couple months. Have him hold that title 4 months. That's it. That's all you need. And
That's not that
fucking,
bad.
what you do out of it is you've now turned him into a main eventer. So now if he goes back to the mid-card position, he's still always going to be in that upper mid-card because at any minute he could go back to the main event.
And the other
LA
thing
Knight
is,
is
go ahead.
LA Knight is like one of the most over things right now, bro. Like this dude is my guy. Like he's probably one of my favorites in the company. You can hear that ovation when he came out tonight, bro. I didn't even care that much for the match itself, but when I seen Burn and I heard that music, bro, that place erupted. Like,
Scream.
Yeah.
loud, yeah. They were just sitting there, and then he yells at Cole, telling him he's gonna slap him. I popped for that, bro. I love LA Knight. Like seriously.
You know, it's funny because it's like, look when we did it to Sami Zayn. When we finally took Sami Zayn and put him in the bloodline, he became one of the most main attracted people of the bloodline that we had to watch. He was funny, he was charismatic, he was trying to keep the family together. Him and Jay were feuding. Like, all of that was really, really interesting. Then we decided, okay, you know what, Sammy? It seems everybody loves you. Everybody wants you to be over. Everybody already pretty much put you over. So let's let you now take the ball and run with it. And we get the Royal Rumble. And the screaming and the pop that we got when he hit Roman, it was electrifying. And then we had the Elimination Chamber. He lost. But
Boo.
work up to that, him attacking the bloodline, him attacking Roman, going after Paul, all of that, leading up to Elimination Chamber, main event worthy. Proved he was main event worthy in Elimination Chamber. Then became tag team champions in a main event at WrestleMania and is still riding that high. So if somebody of the sense of Sami Zayn, who's had somewhat of a similar amazing career of LA Knight in NXT and outside of the WWE, and LA Knight is almost the same to that, why don't we give it to LA Knight now? Because we've already swung and made a home run out of Sammy. We can make a grand slam out of LA Knight. Does
that mean we got to get another Jackass match?
What?
Does that mean we got to get another Jackass match?
No more Jackass matches. I don't want Johnny Knoxville anymore. No. Just stick to making movies and breaking your back, please. I don't want.
Stay away.
Yeah, stay away.
But and also, another question, real quick. Do y'all think that this is where Sami Zayn peaked? Does it ever get any higher than this past Elimination Chamber again?
I don't think so. I honestly don't.
Yes, I do. I'll let JoJo answer first, but I say yes.
Honestly, I don't see it. They already said that they don't believe in the guy as a top star, so I don't see him going anywhere. Maybe a U.S. title, IC title, but I don't see it happening. They had that one moment and they failed.
But do you ever see him becoming a world heavyweight WWE?
Yes, I do. That's where I think will be the next big moment for Sammy. I think eventually what's going to happen is Sammy and Kevin will lose the belts, which is inevitable. That's fine. Cool.
Yeah.
We get a unification of both the Raw and SmackDown. Maybe we don't. Maybe we get two different tag team divisions for Raw and SmackDown. Okay, cool. Maybe those belts stay on there. Great, excellent. But I think after a while, maybe Sammy goes for the United States. Maybe he wins that. Maybe that's just like pre-pop before he goes then for maybe whoever the champion is at the time. Maybe it's LA Knight. Maybe it's someone else who's the world heavyweight champion at the time. And they have a great feud. Maybe it's Kevin Owens. Maybe it's Sammy and Kevin go one-on-one for the world heavyweight championship. Who knows? But whatever the opponent is for Sami Zayn, I see Sammy winning that world heavyweight for sure. And I think that's where they're going to stop him, because at that stage, we'll have either Roman facing Jaws or somebody at WrestleMania 60, and or the Avengers or something. Cody's
You
not
know,
winning.
I could
I don't know
honestly,
what everyone's thinking here, but it's not happening. I mean, if it happens, it's a WrestleMania 40. But and I have something to say to that. But
why am I
generally
actually
speaking,
afraid of that, though? I'm afraid that by WrestleMania 45, in the main event, we'll hear, and still Roman Reigns.
I've seen a meme with that, and it's like, dude, if that actually happened.
yeah, there's a WrestleMania 90 where he's facing the whole Justice League. There's a WrestleMania 100 where he's facing Thanos alone. He's underwater with Jaws is the one that I saw recently. Then he beat God. I don't know how you could beat God, but you beat God. Like,
Oh
dude, there's so many WrestleMania moments with Roman coming out victorious. It's ridiculous, but it's so true because that's just the way they're pitching it. But I don't know if you guys know this rumor, I guess you can call it, or this is the story we're trying to go for Cody Rhodes. But
WrestleMania 40?
yeah, so I don't know if we're probably all I'm about to date myself here, but Freddie Prinze Jr., okay, for everybody who doesn't know, that's the guy from Scooby-Doo.
Love
Okay,
Freddie.
and I know what you did last summer. So
Harold and
pretty
Kumar.
much dating myself here. But he was on a podcast, and if I said the story to you, just cut me off. But he was on a podcast, or someone's podcast, and he was saying that his friend has this idea. That his friend believes that what if Cody losing is supposed to happen? What if we are retelling the Hard Times promo through Cody Rhodes in the modern era? Where Cody comes back on top of the world, shows
So
Seth.
it's like Rocky.
Kind of, sort of. So he wins against Seth, which he did. He comes back. Of course, the injury wasn't planned, but comes back at Mania. Comes back, he beats Seth. Yada yada yada. Comes to Rumble, wins Rumble. He goes to WrestleMania, but he loses.
But see, now here's where my problem with that was. So you knew he tore the pec before WrestleMania and put on still a 5-star Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins.
Saying that he did. Injury not included. Like that wasn't a part of his idea. He just
right. But what I mean is the people in the back, like your Vince McMahon's and stuff, said the reason he lost was because Cody hadn't faced enough adversity. And I'm like, if Stardust and wrestling with a torn fucking pec is not enough adversity,
I don't know what is at this point now. But yeah, no. So he continues on a losing streak, with Brock or whatever. That's a part of this whole story now. And then he starts winning a little bit. He starts getting his groove back. He starts fighting back. Comes back to Royal Rumble. He wins again. Then at WrestleMania 40, he finally takes down Roman and gets the belt. And the Hard Times now is over. And Cody now can start his new journey. I think it's fucking dumb, to be honest.
Right. I'm actually going to enjoy this. And, honestly, so Roman Reigns, when he reached 1,000 days, he became in the top 6 longest reigns of all time. All right. Now, 1,027, he's already at like 1,013 or so. So 1,027 would put him in the top 5. Now, so by the time he loses this title at WrestleMania 40, he's going to be in the top 4 longest reigns in WWE history. And that of itself is a Hall of Fame worthy thing because just like the Shriek, we're never going to see another guy go 22 years undefeated or 21 years undefeated. We will never, in the modern era, I thought we'd never see it again in my lifetime, of a 1,000+ day champion. Right. And yet, here we are. But I guarantee you, when this reign is over, just like the Shriek, you're not going to do that again. I don't think so.
No. But I just don't. if that's what they're going for this, if that's what this whole Cody Rhodes story is, I wouldn't have chose Brock as the first obstacle to hurdle over. It makes sense because he's going to probably have to go through the people Roman has beat to get to Roman initially. So
Yes.
Brock, we're talking, maybe Braun Strowman, maybe AJ, then Edge, then I don't even know who the fuck Roman's fought. He literally fought. So the whole men's locker room pretty much. And then finally we'll get to, WrestleMania 40. He's beaten the whole men's locker room now as well. And then he fights Roman and finally wins. But again, what about Solo? There's still Solo we got to still talk about. How does he get now taken out of this? Because he was the one that helped Roman retain his belt. And that's something the Bloodline's so good at doing, which is helping Roman remain the champion. So if the Bloodline's not going to be around and Roman is still fighting by himself at this time, how does this all correlate?
I think it's going to be similar to the Usos, and I think it's going to be similar to, I think to Jey Uso and to Jimmy Uso, even at the start of the Bloodline, when they lose an opportunity that affects Roman in return, instead of blaming himself, is going to take it out on Solo, and Solo is not going to fucking kiss his ass. Solo is not going to take that shit. And we've already seen in the one time that Roman Reigns bumped into Solo, you could tell, all right, them eyes told a story of themselves that if you touch me again, I'm going to spike your ass here and now. And so, I feel like Solo, the minute he gets pushed by Roman, he's going to push back. He may not win, but there's going to be more of a pop for Solo turning on Roman. Probably for Jimmy and Jay.
Solo's grew on me, man. It really has.
I've always enjoyed Solo. I've seen him a few times in NXT. He had a really great match against Gunther in NXT a while back. Solo coming out and being part of this Bloodline, I thought was genius. I think the Bloodline story right now is peak perfection. It can't be
brilliant.
Yeah, it can't. It can't get any better. But yet every week it somehow gets better. So whoever's cooking back there, continue because you do it right. You're the only one right now that's doing the right thing. So I just don't know. I clearly the only way for Roman, Roman to lose would be for no Jay, no Jimmy, no Solo, all by his side. Come WrestleMania 40, leaving Cody and Roman one-on-one, really one-on-one, no interference, no nothing, and it is that final victory for Cody. Cody gets the win because technically Cody did beat Roman. If Solo didn't come, Roman was going to lose. Sorry, but that was going to happen. So
then Cody got fucked like Drew McIntyre got fucked.
Yeah. So that's the only way. Of course, this story is going to continue and persist on and stuff like that. Is if Roman loses it at WrestleMania 40, and then that's that. And I think at that time, Roman. Oh, how much longer do you got to go, buddy? You know what I mean? Don't the movies make more money for you?
It should be
stars DC flicks. Go ask the Rock for the Black Adam gear. You become Black Adam. Come on, man, give me a break here. Let me see somebody else, please.
If I really want to scare you, if Roman Reigns was to be the longest reigning WWE champion in history, he would have to go to 2028 as the undisputed champion. And then, let's say if Roman Reigns wanted to beat Hulk Hogan's record and be in the top 3 at least, he would have to go until the summer of 2024. So next year, this time, as WWE Universal Champion. So, I mean, technically, we could have a large amount of Roman Reigns, but I think at WrestleMania 40, like you're saying, it's going to be this comeback story for Cody because one of the things of why he lost is they felt he hadn't faced enough adversity. So having him get beat up by Lesnar, having the broken arm, and still triumphing anyways, in which, a lot of people shit on Brock Lesnar because his matches are the same and kind of boring. But if you think about it, Brock Lesnar is always portrayed as a dominant beast. He was giving in this match because Cody Rhodes had a kayfabe broken arm, and a man with one arm was whooping his ass. All right, yeah. Brock Lesnar's character should not be having that. So props to Brock there. And Cody actually is eating a rub from this as we talk about facing adversity, overcoming mountains. This is a fucking huge mountain to overcome. And I think it sets you up for that, go again at WrestleMania 40. But if Cody does not win there, let's say the match happens and he loses again, Cody's comeback to WWE was just kind of a fucking waste.
Yeah, that's what it's kind of seeming at times, bro. Because he went from being like the biggest thing back in WWE, and now it's like it's fading.
Yeah, but that might be the promo. That might be this whole thing. And again, and if they are doing it that way, then okay, cool, I'm behind it. I think I'm not so behind it is because Brock was the first choice. I don't think Brock needed to be that person to prove Cody isn't beatable. Cody is a human. Cody isn't God mode like Roman Reigns considers him to be. I think if they chose somebody different, maybe it would have electrified a lot more people into this idea of Cody going through the hard times now and everything. I think that maybe was something we would have been a little bit more excited about, or at least I would be. Don't get me wrong, we got some great memes out of it. We got Cody walking away mad like Squidward. We got look at his face. We got fight me. You know what I mean? We got, I'll tell you everything about where I live and everything.
You've seen the guy in our comments called the cock, right?
Yeah.
We got him out of this too.
We got the cock, man. You know what I mean? Like, we got everything out of it. So to be honest with you, we should be happy. We as fans are winning. We're eating good.
Right.
The memes popping, the look at this face is trending. You know what I mean? Like, we are truly, truly eating well out of this feud. Cody, not so much. Brock, not so much. But we as fans are definitely eating full.
Absolutely.
I shouldn't complain, but that's kind of part of my job. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta tell you the things I'm not happy about than what the things that I am happy about. So it's just like, what are you gonna do? But
what pisses you off the most currently? If you're looking at the WWE,
the belts right now, the belt designs for sure.
Were you a fan of the new Universal title?
A couple things do piss me off. I do have to say that. The belt designs, I think, are disgusting. The new ones that Roman and Asuka have, they look like SpongeBob belts made out of Bikini Bottom. Like, they're just absolute barnacles. They're trash. They need to go back down under and never come back to light. They look better in a video game than they do in real life. That says a lot. You know what I mean? Like, that says a lot. They should get someone from Community Creations to create their fucking belts for them, because whoever's doing it is doing it blindly.
Are you a fan of that big-ass WWE logo on the belt?
I don't mind it. Of course, Sam was very nice enough to get me the Eddie Guerrero collector's edition Latino Heat belt. And, it had the old United, Undisputed plate. And that's the belt that will always be my personal favorite. Besides it being held by Eddie and stuff, it was held by Kurt, it was held by Brock. Whether you like him or not, the racist JBL, so it's it was held by many men that were very, very talented.
Is it worse than the spinner belt?
I love that belt.
All right, so JoJo loves the spinner. I gotta admit, I loved the spinner as a kid. As a grown adult, I don't know if I consider it.
I liked it as a kid. I liked it as a kid, but as an adult, no.
No, and for me as an adult, my favorite title was the Big Gold. But when I was a kid, that WWE title had it.
My other favorite title is the Intercontinental, the original one that had the globe on it, the whole circular. Yeah, the one that Randy. Yep, the one that Randy wore. The one that Shelton Benjamin wore. Yeah,
that's my favorite.
That's my favorite one for sure. See, I like this. If you're gonna call it a world heavyweight, or you're gonna call it a undisputed, or you're gonna call it a intercontinental, you kind of gotta have that word in the belt somehow.
Yeah.
Play into it, because if you just have a big ass fucking W with this bejeweled shit and then this gold shit behind it, it's just like I could call it whatever. The whatever.
You grew up in the 2000s, right?
1994, I was born.
Okay, 94. So you grew up even in the 90s to the 2000s to the 2010s. Every title used to look different. They were unique. And you could and no title, 1-2 titles look the same. Nope. I think my biggest problem nowadays with the belts, you look at the women's titles, the WWE and the Universal, they all look the same. Now, I've hated the Universal title since it was first incepted in 2016, and we talked about not liking the colorful straps and stuff. But for me, even the new Universal title, to me, it's the best looking one of the three. I hated the red, hated the blue. This one I hate too, but it's not as bad. For me, being a classic belt guy, the black and gold will always seem right on a title. I just wish that it looked distinct. Like this title had its own design to it that was different from every other title on the roster.
Yeah. I don't like the new belt. I'll be honest. I fucking hate it. I really do. I can't sit here and lie. I don't want to lie and be like, oh yeah, I guess it's nice. Like, no, it's garbage. I like the new IC belt. I think that's very good looking. The world heavyweight one grew on me, but seeing it around Seth Rollins' waist, being the first one seeing it around Seth Rollins' waist. Yes.
That's right.
Absolutely. Yes.
But those belts, too, are different. They don't just look like the women's and the Universal Championship.
Yeah. See, I'm more of I like a black strap. I like the gold plates. The gold plates have to do something cool. I needed to say something. Like it said, undisputed, championship. It had the eagle. It had the W that was scratched. It had, the world inside. It had the, McMahon crest on the side plates. It had a uniqueness to it. It had an appeal that everybody wanted it. So now that it's just like, hey guys, here's the new United States one, Universal one. Oh, I already have that. I just got to get a new fucking strap. Great. You know what I mean? It's not worth $400. It's not worth $300. One of my favorite belts, actually two varieties of the belt I enjoyed. I liked the classic, United States one where it had the flag and everything on it. And I did like it when Cena had the spinner. I thought that was his best spinner belt.
I agree.
Was the United States one. Him coming out to the WWE one was cool. I thought it was great. It definitely fit his image. But as he started becoming a lot older and wasn't the rapper anymore and wasn't that thugonomics guy
It
that
didn't
we
fit.
all knew, it didn't fit him. And he needed an adult belt to fit him. And that wasn't it, seeing that fucking W spinning around on him without the brass knuckles and everything. I was like, okay, you're like 30, dude. Like, let's take off the huggies.
Yeah.
Let's get something more
And not
adult.
only that, like
You
look
know, you're
when
saluting the
Randy.
soldiers with a W spinning on your waist.
Yeah.
Like, let's just stop. All right, please.
Some
You know,
guys
you're in
just
the movies
didn't
now,
look right
buddy.
with that
Let's
title.
let it go. Let's let it go.
Right, and some guys didn't look right with that title. Like, could
No.
you imagine
The
Shawn
Miz
Michaels with the
didn't.
spinner belt?
The Miz didn't. I liked. You know what I liked? I liked Edge's rated R edition.
Yes.
I thought that was a cool addition because it fit his gimmick. And once his gimmick died as the rated R superstar, we never
no
saw
longer
it again.
fit.
And that was perfect because it was a belt for him, only for him, and only
At that
worked
time.
for him. And the moment he lost it to someone else, it went back to the spinner with the W. And then after a while, the W stopped spinning. They stopped having it spin. I guess they'd stop with the mechanics or whatever.
Yeah,
But
I thought that was weird.
Yeah, and
but
then
I
it was
thought
just-
it looked right with Jeff.
no, I'd rather him with like the undisputed one. I'd rather see him. I like the big gold looked great on him when he won the
Facts.
world
Do you
heavyweight.
remember the purple
I
TNA
thought that-
title?
Yeah, I was happy with that. He was IC champion. He looked great with that. I wasn't a fan of him wearing that spinner belt. I was like, Jesus Christ.
What about the purple TNA title he designed?
No. Ugh. That shit sucked.
Oh, come on.
Kinda. You know, I get it. You know, he's eccentric. He's, you know, he designs
Creative.
his own shit. He is his own creator. He is this. He is that. The belt
That
thing
title was ugly.
That's where he missed. I was like, buddy, you missed on this one. All right, sorry to tell you, but this isn't something I'm gonna want to buy. So you know, but yeah, you know, I don't know, man. Like I'm very old fashioned, I guess. You know, like
Same.
I like the blingy bling bullshit to an extent, but it has to look right. It has to when you put it on multiple different men or women, it has to look right. Like the women's championship, when it said the women's championship. Okay, cool. Very generic, very simple, nice, you know, bronze plates, all of that. Nice black leather strap. Looked good on Trish. It looked good on Lita. It looked good on who the hell else?
Melina.
Melina. It looked good
Mickey
on a lot of
James.
Mickey James. It looked good on a lot of other ladies. And then when they changed it, I was like, okay, not bad.
The Divas.
Yeah, well, that's when they went a little sour because like that to me that was a Vince McMahon choice because he was
Yes, it
just
was.
like, I don't want them to be considered women no more. I want them to be considered divas like they are.
Yeah.
That's what I felt when he made when that belt design came out. I was like,
I think that's a title that looks like it would come with a Bratz doll, right?
yes,
Fucking, it's not something that a champion would wear. And,
I'll be right back.
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like Sasha Banks' take about the Divas title. She said, "Would John Cena wear that title? No. Would The Rock wear that title? No.
No.
Would Stone Cold wear that title? No." So she goes, "Why would I?" And you know, and I think it's kind of weird. A lot of people hate Sasha Banks for walking out and being unprofessional, but she's always stood on her hill. You know what I mean? If she thought something was bullshit, she would let you know she thought it was bullshit. If she thought it was good, she let you know that she thought it was good. And so to me, it's like, I think that, you know, we need people like that in the business. And I feel like a lot of guys in the back are too afraid to speak up anymore. And I honestly do feel like Vince McMahon still has a big hand on everything that we're seeing on week-to-week TV. And at this point, I just want him to go. You know what I mean? And it's crazy.
I want him to go too. I want him to go too.
this man created all my childhood memories that I love to this day.
Yeah,
And so it's a bittersweet. But at the same time,
not for me.
it's just enough. And because he's
Yeah.
killing his own creation. And I think that there's more to Stephanie quitting than what's been told, but she's such a professional that I
Yeah,
don't
she
think
won't
she'll
say
ever
anything.
think about it. Mhm.
You know, my thing with Vince McMahon is very simple. You know, we'll go back real quick. His father created something that Vince took and made it into a billion-dollar business, and for that we thank you. Honestly, thank you.
Mm.
Thank you for giving us one of the greatest television programs of our generation. Our childhood will never be the same without it. It would be only better with it. And we thank you for everything that you have done. We thank you for everything that you have given us, all of the characters and championships and men and women that you put on our TV screens twice a week, every single week, night in, night out. We thank you for that.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, at the same time, you being such a good person, doing all of these great things for fans alike, you're also a big piece of shit for doing the things that you do outside of the ring. So, if you're going to behave like a child, an inappropriate child outside of the ring, then you shouldn't be a part of the company that is keeping you afloat. I think that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon with Shane, not Nick Khan, would do just fine. If not, continue your legacy and make a brand new generational, talented superstars for new generations that are younger than us to have in their living rooms, to have it on their TV screens, on their iPhones and iPads, as crazy as that sounds, but it is true. Have something to watch like we had something to watch every single week. I think that he needs to step down immediately. I think he should not have anything to do with this business. I
Fact.
think that what he has done to the people that he has hurt is a mockery and a shame and absolutely disgusting to the highest form. He should not be allowed in any type of position of power in any aspect of the matter. And Stephanie leaving was definitely by force, was not by choice.
Fact.
I know for a fact, she told her father that, what you're doing here is going to hurt you because everybody right now is looking at you as a bad person for doing the things that you've done that's being brought now to the limelight. And he pretty much told her, well, if you don't like it, you can leave. So she had to go get a surgery done for her foot or whatnot. And she took that time to do that and then just pretty much, left quietly on that little statement. And then that was that. Leaving,
It's
unfortunately.
just weird how it happened. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Her and Triple H are creating great product at the time.
Yep.
It was the company
But
was
he knew
depressed.
that.
You know, it was
He wanted himself to be the one to get the glory and the fame. He wanted to be the one people were thanking every single week still. He wanted to be the one still sitting behind in Gorilla, making the calls. He still wanted that. For someone that's been doing it for 20-something years, 30-something years, I understand that. But if you're going to commit crimes, let's not beat around the bush here. Commit
he
crimes.
raped a chick in a limo.
Yep. And then he settled on one girl referee from like the 70s as well, like a year ago, I think.
Yep.
Like 12 million or 10 million or some shit like that.
Because it was going to go to court, and then he settled outside of court before the trial could even happen.
Yep. So, I think that with that being said, if you're going to do those things and think you could get away with it because you're such and such billionaire, you should be put underneath the jail and not be in a position of power.
And
So,
I know this is going to sound real political, but I want to know, what the fuck has this world become? We live in a world where our president is openly known as a pedophile, but yet everybody makes jokes about it on the internet while he still reigns as the president. We live in a world where everybody knows that Vince McMahon is a racist, a rapist, fucking a sexual predator in a large amount of degrees, and just a fucking wacko. But instead of incarcerating him, he's still in a position of power and arguably even richer than he was before.
Yep.
Like, what the
I'll
fuck?
say this. I don't follow politics. I do not. I'll be very honest here. I am not registered to vote. I do not vote.
Fair enough.
That is how much I give a shit about our government. And, my honest opinion, I will say it, but I don't follow what's going on in the news like that. I don't follow anything presidential, political wise. I stay very far away from it. That and religion, I let everyone do their own thing. They're their own people. I got video games to play. I got podcasts to be on. I got wrestling to catch up on. I got belts to buy. You know what I mean? I stick to the things that I know about, then be like, oh, yeah, let me put my input in and look like an idiot. But to be honest with you, for somebody who doesn't do any of that and has heard from both Republican, Democrat, liberal, everybody who said, you need to vote, it matters, this, that, and the third. In my opinion, this is my opinion and my opinion only, I believe, as a citizen of the United States, my vote does not matter. I believe that my vote will not make the change we all would like to see. I believe that the way that things are already been set up prior to my birth to where we are now is going to continue on until that gets fixed first. Then I think our votes will matter and our votes will make the change. I think we need to get out all the people that are in power currently and get a brand new team for all members of Congress and legislative and political and all of that that are a lot younger, like 20, 30 years younger, that still know what's going on, that can actually implement change, that would do good things for us people that are working day to day on average salaries or salaries itself. I believe that if we made changes in that aspect down the road, then the things that we would like to see happen will happen. But until those things happen, for me at least, again, this is just my opinion, my vote means ugats.
Yep.
And I could have voted for Trump. I could have voted for Biden. I could have voted for Mickey Mouse. They've already pretty much made their selection, and they knew where they were going to go and who they were going to choose. So whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden, whether it's Bernie Sanders, whether it's the people in Florida, whether it's my next door neighbor, whether it's Bailey over here on my right, I don't think they're going to give a fuck about what my decision is or what my opinions are. I think that my only job here for America in the government aspect is to make sure I pay my taxes, okay? And don't say anything too crazy on the internet, because then I'm going to have the Secret Service at my door. So that's my take on it. Again, that is just my opinion. But that is the reason why I do not vote. That is the reason why I am not registered. I have heard everything under the sun about why I should. register and why I should vote and how I do matter and how my vote does matter, blah, blah, blah. But I've never seen any change really happen. I've only seen new people get blamed and the same people complain. So
I
until
agree.
until the complaining kind of deceases and the new people actually step in and make change, then I'll register.
Well, see, and here's my thing too, is, and this is just a fact about life, is no matter what or what you do or who you are, somebody will find something to bitch about,
Of course.
and you're gonna have haters if you're trying to be successful, if you're trying to be on your way up, you know what I mean, or do anything, you're gonna have haters. And the way I like to think about it is like this: if you don't have haters, you ain't doing something right, because a seed has to have dirt grown on it to be grown into something beautiful. So I think the same applies for us as human beings, but not only that, you're never going to make everybody happy. So the best you can do is try to make yourself happy, because that's the only motherfucker you're going to ever truly make happy.
Yep, that's why I got my wrestling shows, my video games, my belts that I want to buy, my podcast that I like being and watching. You know what I mean? Like, I got my own little world. I don't have a government in my world. I don't have a president. You know what I mean? I got Bailey. You know what I mean? I got my mama. That's it. My sister, and that's really it, man. I don't, like I said, I don't really follow any of that stuff. The people that do, that's great. I'm happy for you. I'm happy.
I mean, I don't mean to get into the fact of like who you vote
that's
for.
Fine.
Because I respect if you vote or don't vote, or who you vote for, but my problem is the wickedness in the world, and it just seems like it's starting to increase and increase and increase. And people are becoming more selfish, more deceitful, and not only that, we're seeing all these celebrities and presidents and so on and so forth do these horrible things that, let's say you were an average citizen, you made an average amount of money, you would be incarcerated for.
Yep.
And so that's where I'm just kind of like, it's not so much politics, it's more about human morals. It's like, how is this shit okay?
Yeah, humans. See, that's something I could talk about. Humans are very different than politics, so I could definitely speak on humans a lot more than politics. Humans are interesting. You know what I mean? Like, if you actually take yourself out of that conversation, or you just step back and you watch it all kind of unfold, it becomes this almost entertainment. It's like, it's crazy enough that it happens, but it's even crazier that people allow it to happen.
Right.
And I think that itself makes this time we have here very interesting, because no matter where you look, whether it's on TV, whether it's on gaming, whether it's podcasting, whether it's music, whether it's outside, there's always something going on. Something, whether it's someone talking shit about wrestling, a game that's really good that people need to play, or a movie you need to go see, or an album that you need to go hear, or your neighbor having a barbecue that maybe you were invited to, or whatever. There's always something going on that you're not ever really bored. I'll say this. Like, I always say, or at least I think, and I'm gonna go a little left field here, but I consider this time we have here a waiting room.
Okay.
It's a waiting room. This is just a waiting room where we have all this entertainment around us. We have all these different things around us. We have good, we have bad, whether it's good entertainment, bad entertainment, whatever it is. We have all these things around us to keep us occupied that could either steer us to the right path, whether religious or not, or can veer you off to the wrong path, whether that be drugs and alcohol and other things like criminal activity or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's always something for somebody. And for me, like, there's things you always want to try. And not, of course, the criminal shit, but there's always things you want to try, you want to invest in, you want to try out and see what things are
Right.
like. And other people kind of, follow routines of like, you go to school, you go to college, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, you get a house, you get you get old and
It's
you
kind of
die.
like, I think if I understand what you're saying is that, like, even though it's chaos, it's a necessary chaos.
To an extent, like, do I agree that there needs to be mass diseases in this world that take out portions of people that either are innocent or not? No,
No.
I don't believe that. I don't understand why children get cancer from birth. There's things like, I don't understand why certain people who are good people get the bad brunt of
Done
life
dirty.
crimes. Yeah, like I don't understand. Was that a part of their choice that they made? Did they know they were
Well,
making a choice prior?
I kind of think I have a way to explain that to you. And the way I can explain that, where it's kind of like, why do bad things happen to good people? Well, I think if it's like this, right? Because I believe, not in religion, but as Jesus as my Savior. And that's a whole other thing I could get into, religion versus believing in Jesus. But, when you're a good person, all kinds of negativity will try to come at you. Everybody will try to use you because you're a good person. A taker will always recognize a giver. All right. And so all of these negative things are coming in because it's kind of like cockroaches to light. Okay. And you are the light. And so they're all coming at you and to you. And so one thing that I heard from Denzel Washington that I love is, when you're doing something wrong, the devil goes, no, oh no, leave him alone. He's my favorite. You know what I mean? He's over here fucking up. Just kind of, let him be. Don't worry about him. But conversely, when you're trying to do something right, maybe because you're trying to do something right is where you get attacked. Because, he hates the righteous. He hates people trying to change their life for the better. But if he sees you being misled and misguided, he ain't going to harm you. It's only when you're trying to do something right. And I think so. A lot of good people who face bad times, to struggle is to be blessed. Because it's only in those times that you really figure out who you are and what your faith really is. Because if we all had good times, if everything was easy, we wouldn't need faith to get through life.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that. I think that is a valid point. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I kind of look at it as a, more of a. I look at all this like a moment. Like I try to enjoy it. I try to enjoy each and every day I'm here. I try to enjoy every time I'm able to do the things I like to do, whether it's meeting new people on the podcasting side or, playing the games that I was looking forward to, or hanging out with the people that I care about, or whatever it may be. I look at them all as moments, and I try to enjoy them as much as I can. Yeah, because eventually, soon I'll be 30, then I'll be 40, then I'll be 50, 60, 70. And after a certain point, I won't be here anymore. So if I don't enjoy the moments I have till I hit the 90s or the hundreds or whatever, then I just sat. I sat still.
And you know what? I appreciate that. Like, honestly, that's real, bro. And that goes deep. Like, because I'll give you this. This is actually a science. So at max, we're all here. Currently, this generation will be alive at most 120 years. And then
Right.
after that, in another 120 years, there will be a new generation. Then another 120 years, a new generation. So we spend all this time fighting, bickering, holding on to negativity when it's so temporary. We are all here for such a limited amount of time. And what
Yep.
we spend arguing, bitching, and hating each other, if we took that to be more productive, to love and accept each other despite the multiple differences, despite the political beliefs, despite anything else, if we actually took the time that we have not for granted, but used it to make the next generation stronger and better, we might see something called peace. But, I think in every human being, there's a yin and a yang. And I know that's outside of Christian belief, but I believe in that because everybody is battling. Like you see the angel and demon on the shoulder. Everybody has that. So when you're trying to do something right, you also will slip up, mess up, or something will happen, or yada yada, or somebody will intend to do good, but really they're doing harm, and that's why we're all the heroes in our own stories.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like there will always be some kind of chaos because we're always wrestling with the angel and the demon on our shoulders.
Oh, for
But I
sure.
think that if you can overcome, that's the biggest thing, right? Overcoming all these obstacles, these struggles, what you get in return is far greater than the struggle you faced.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Like, to me, like, starting off doing these things, like doing these podcasts and stuff like that, like, I was bashful. I was nervous to do this because I'm not a public speaker. I know it sounds like I'm a public speaker and I could talk to anybody or whatever, but like to me, like I had to do that. Like I kind of was forced to do that with the jobs that I had at hand. That's why I'd always pick jobs where I had to talk to people. That's why I hated sitting in the back doing like the dishes or whatever because I didn't get to talk to nobody. Everybody back there was someone who spoke a different language that I didn't know. So like, I'm saying hi and they're looking at me like, what the fuck who are you? Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, right. I'm sorry. I don't speak Spanish. I'm sorry. Or I don't speak Chinese. I'm sorry. So, when I would do like retail or, cell phones or whatever I did, 7-Eleven even, and how to speak to people. I tried to make conversations, like small conversations, how are you? What's going on? I listen into like other people's conversations to kind of pick up like ideas to have those conversations with others and shit like that. So it made it a lot easier for me to communicate because, I wasn't really like as a little kid or whatever. My mom said I was a big talker and like enjoyed it. But as I grew up, as I got older, when I was in like elementary and middle school, and then of course like high school, like if I wasn't talking to my friends, I wasn't talking to nobody else. Like I was trying to just make music at the time. Like I wasn't trying to do anything else. Like I didn't really care for nothing else. So like to me, like that was really it. But then as I got these jobs and stuff like that, I started realizing like, oh, I could talk to people pretty good. Like I have that gift to gab pretty easily down pat. Like I can kind of
Yep.
just I could talk bullshit with anybody. Like then it just became a fun thing to do. So then I made friends along the way and shit like that. So it became fun. It became cool. And like, I enjoyed it. And that became like a superpower for me. But then doing a podcast was different because when I first started this, when I started last week in wrestling, I was talking to a wall before Sam came
Yeah.
out. So I was talking to a wall and my dog was laying on my bed. Like she was like, who are you talking to? You're talking to a wall, sweetheart. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, I'm excited about the, Royal Rumble that's coming up and this, that, and the third and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Did you ever use Anchor?
that's what I use. That's what I use for to put it all on Spotify and everything else. So that's what I started with. And yeah, like if you go back to my very first episode, it cuts off after a while because it's like 30-minute segments. That's all they would give you because I didn't know how to use that. I didn't know I could use another recording software to record it and then take that MP4 and then put it over to Anchor. And then after learning how to do that, I did that. And then I started doing the YouTube version of it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be even more nerve-wracking because I hate being on camera. Like, I don't take pictures. Like, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I fucking hate taking pictures. Every time there's like a group photo or a group anything, they're like, oh, come in. I'm like, I'll take the picture, but I will not be in the picture. I hate it. So now I'm on camera. And now I'm on camera like 5-6 days out of the week. And I've become so accustomed to it. Now, like, I don't even care. I forget that I'm on camera. Like, I just look at the other person. I don't even look at myself anymore. And I'm just like, wow, I can't believe that happened. Like, I every time I do one, I'm like, I can't believe I was on fucking YouTube for like 3 hours today. Like, that's insane.
And, that's how, honestly, I relate to you so much. It's actually astonishing to me because, when me and JoJo started on Anchor, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I had been on a few other people's podcasts because, at the time when I was in the Twitter community, I was cool with a few people. And I was on Brother Monty's podcast and RJ's podcast as well. And that introduced me up to the platform of Anchor. And then, so me and JoJo started the One Shot Killers podcast. And, we've loved this since we were about knee high. Especially for me, I can remember my first memories is when I was 2 years old. And, I met JoJo in middle school. And, like we've talked about his struggles with Tourette's and stuff like that and overcoming it, the idea of just doing a podcast, and especially me with my anxiety, really bad depression, like you talk about not wanting to take photos and being introverted. That was me to a major extent.
I'll tell you one quick story. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'll tell you this one quick story about a photo thing, though. We were at MSG at the WWE live event. I think I probably told you this off air, but now that we're live, now everybody else can hear the great story. So we were this was March. So the podcast has been around 2 months. 2 months. 2 fucking months. That's about a month for video podcasting and a 2 month for audio. So that right there is like, okay, all right, that's nothing. It's nothing. It's boo-boo. That's boo-boo shit, okay? So I go, we're waiting online. We're in MSG, and this guy takes a photo of my back, and he pats me on the back, and he goes, "Oh man, I really like those guys. Like those guys are really funny. Like I've been following them since like day one and everything." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Now, mind you, he doesn't know that it's me. That's the person. So Sam's off in the corner. He's not talking to them. I'm the only guy talking because I'm wearing the merch that we're trying to design or whatever. And with the big ass QR code in the back. So the guy goes, yeah, he's telling me, he's like, yeah, I'm big fans of them. They're very funny. They're great guys. This, that, and the third. And I'm like, oh, it's really great to hear. Yeah, I'm great fans of them too. I like them too. So I'm kind of the guy. And the guy goes, yeah, that's so funny. And I go, do you know it's me? And he goes, what do you mean? And I go, hi, I'm Dylan. I go, I'm the one of the owners of, Last Week in Wrestling podcast. The dude's face changed from like, oh my God, to holy fucking shit. And he was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Are you really him? And I'm like, yeah, no, I really am. I swear to God. Like, I swear to you, I promise you, I am him. Like, I am Dylan. Yes, this is Sam. Sam like waves or whatever. And he was like, oh, wow, oh my God. He goes, let's take a photo. And I was like, oh, I'm not a big photo. He goes, oh, no, I got it, man. I'm a big fan of yours. And I'm like, okay. Like, I couldn't say no to him because it was just like the fact that he like poured out everything. He was like, oh, he was telling me how much he's been following us since day one, and he's been listening, and he's been following us on YouTube and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay.
If I'm correct, this was your first real big celebrity
event. This was the first celebrity moment. And the guy goes, let's take a picture. First I said no, and I explained why I said no. And he's like, no, please, like, this would mean a lot to me. And I'm like, okay, absolutely. Like, once he said that, I was like, absolutely. I'm not going to say no to the guy now. So I was wearing a Bloodline hat. So, and I should have asked him for the picture so that I could show everybody. Or for his fucking Twitter so that way I could look it up right now even too. I was just so starstruck. Like, I starstruck myself here. So I had my hat on. So I put it a little low so where you couldn't really see my eyes. And I threw up like the peace sign or whatever. And like, I kind of smiled. And like, that was it. And he was like, man, I'm never going to forget this, man. You guys are great. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I love y'all. Like, you guys are funny. You guys are great. He goes, all right, enjoy the show, man. Enjoy it. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. I'll, hope to see you in there and stuff. And like, that was it. So I ran over to Sam and I go, we just had our first celebrity moment. Why weren't you with me taking the picture? And he goes, oh, I was over here. I was saving our spots. So I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
So everybody in the crowd looked at me and they were like, who are you? And I'm like, oh, we're just podcasters. And they were like, oh, okay. And then they kind of just turned around and just waited online. Like, that was it. And I was like, all right, that was the reaction I was hoping to get when I said it. But like, I got that instead. And I was just like, whoa. Like, it was just so crazy. It's still, to this day, it still rings out to me. I probably will never forget this moment. I forgot the poor guy's name, but he was such a nice guy. He's probably around my age and just really genuine dude. And it was just so funny. But like, speaking of pictures of why I don't like taking them, like, I had to take one. I had to.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he put a gun to my head or anything crazy. It was just like, he really wanted one. And like, I don't like disappointing people. Like, I'm the person that like will do whatever it is for that other person and shit. So it's just like, I was like, absolutely. And that's I did it. And that was that.
And that's one thing that, I've always told JoJo. Put the people first.
Yeah.
Because you never know whose life you're going to touch. You never know what somebody's going through. And you never know what this means to somebody,
Yeah.
When we had the first great message we ever got was from a guy named Chris. And he wrote us this really long letter talking about his struggles and what he had been through and how they were similar to mine and JoJo's growing up, and how he had fallen out of love with the business and he had started watching our podcast. And he said, he knew that for some people, a podcast that talks about wrestling, Jesus and weed, and it's foul, but it's funny. And then at the same time, you might learn something very motivating. It might turn some people off. It might turn some people on. But he said that he connected with it because, we're genuine and that you can recognize that. And he could tell we were having a good time with it, and therefore it made him start watching wrestling again. And he told us, thank you. I've never forgot that. To me, it just told me that what we're doing is right. You know what I mean? Sometimes you wonder, like, I know I'm doing this, and I know I'm doing it a lot, but am I really doing anything? And that just confirmed it. And then, it's not even so much the subscriber count at this point. You know what I mean? Like, the number's great, and I know it's going to continue to grow. But to me, the one thing that will always matter is, I was at a period in life where I hated everything and everybody. I hated myself, dropped out of high school, was very suicidal, and at a point just doing nothing, had no drive for nothing. Yeah. And to now be at this point where I'm at a success in my profession and on this podcast, and, we just made our first $100 in merch sales, it's like that turnaround has been because of this. And oh, absolutely. And it's because of everybody here. That's what people don't know is like you think I'm helping you or I'm entertaining you, but what you don't know is you're helping me.
Yeah.
You're making me want to do more because I want to give you more.
Facts. No, I feel that 100%, and that's so true because it's just like I went from talking to the wall to talking to Sam to then video chatting and getting a couple people, then getting talked to from one wrestling group that unfortunately we're not together with them anymore, but I was with them, and then now then working with people in the UK, and then being able to meet a fan, they're now working with like just Willie and Wolf and everybody, and building our own thing. It's just like, wow, like from the corner of the room, talking to yourself, thinking nobody's going to listen to this but a couple of friends, to now all of this 400 plus subscribers. It's just like
when you're doing this, when because we all did Anchor at first, when you're just sitting here, there is no camera, there is nobody around you, you're just talking into your phone and you're just kind of, blasting off about wrestling. You're trying to be entertaining, but at the same time, you ain't got the energy because there's nobody there. But yet you're trying. And then me and JoJo started doing it together. And then, I talked to him, but once again, I'm still looking at this fucking phone. It's not, really, it feels like nothing, and you're not getting a reaction. And at best, we had like 5 people listening, so it didn't really help. But, what we did to grow was we went to social media. And when we hit 100 on Instagram, 100 on Facebook, and 100 on TikTok, we got invited on to the Midwest Marks podcast. And shout out still to this day to Eli Gundy because he showed us how to use StreamYard. JoJo's in Florida, I'm in Wisconsin. It's not like we can sit next to each other, put a camera on, and talk. So we had to figure out how to stream. And to be honest with you, money at the time, because like I told you, I wasn't working. I still haven't got out of that depressed state yet. Wasn't really a thing. So thankfully StreamYard was free. But so we started the One Shot Killers podcast on YouTube. And well, here's the problem. StreamYard, when you hit 20 hours, maxes you out. We would max it out every single month, halfway through the month, because we were recording so much. And then when I had started to really connect with God and get my stuff together, I started investing money into the podcast. And so then, we were able to record longer. We started doing intros. I was customizing logos. And then Alex Coquito had told us about Restream, which is what we're currently on. And, for me to have the studio and everything like it is right now, it's like $20 a month, but it allows me to record on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter at the same time. Plus, have my own logos and little backgrounds and stuff like that. Yeah. And then my friend Dylan, he goes to college and he's a video editor, photographer. He made our intro that happens at the start of each podcast, and I paid him for it. And he's done some more work that involves our T-shirts and stuff like that. But what I'm telling you is this journey of making it to where we are goes back to what I was telling you earlier. Always put the people first because those people helped us get to where we are. There's no such thing as a self-made man. You had help along the way. And we had a lot of into merchandise when it happened when we hit 500 subscribers. And which, mind you, I want to tell you this real quick. So it takes 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of public watch content to get monetized on YouTube. So, it says that in a business plan, it takes 3 to 4 years to become profitable. So I wanted to treat the podcast like a business plan. Year 1 we'll hit 250 subscribers. Year 2 we'll hit 500. Year 3 we'll hit 750. And year 4 we'll hit 1,000. There's your 4-year business plan. Well, how about in 1 year we hit 500? And then now we're a year and 6 months in and almost at 800. That's not me, because like I told you, I thought we were going to be at 250. That's God putting his grace and mercy upon a blessing that I had asked for. And then my mom, I told her, like, I really want to make merch. I don't know how to do it. I don't even know where to start. How about she finds out how to do it through Printful, who is the one to actually like put the logos on the shirts and make them, and then we have our store through Etsy. And I didn't think nobody would actually put in. I'm gonna be honest. And then we made our first $100 in sales, and it's like everybody believed in us, because at a time, like I told you, I didn't believe in myself. But through these wonderful people like Jordan, like Bone Breaking Action, Kid G, there's so many podcast originals that are in our comments. They helped me get to where I am now. At my AT&T, I just hit #1 in the company for out of all assistant managers, and regular employees. And for a couple months, been #1 in the store for sales. And then I've been there a year and 3 months. That's a complete turnaround. That's the grace of God. So I don't tell you, I don't tell you this to brag and to boast. I tell you this out of humility, that if there's somebody listening who doesn't believe in themselves, they're hard on themselves, they feel like they're never going to make it. If I can be a high school dropout and do all this and turn my life around from rock bottom to here, you can too. As long as you wake up tomorrow, you got time on the clock. All right, so I need you to play a Brady call right now, okay? I need you, while there's still time on the clock, to come around and do a complete 360 and take this game, because this game is yours to take.
Facts. No, 100%. I'm close now to 500, and it's insane. Probably will hit 500 within the next month or two, to be honest, and that's not even. Yeah, and that's something that it started in February. So it's insane. It's insane is what it is. There is no word or adjective or verb to wrap it all up into one word. It's insane, I guess, is the word. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And that's the biggest thing, is I'm so grateful for everybody that has joined. And what's really funny is a person or two from you guys, actually, so I have to thank you as well, came over. I had a comment from, I think it was a girl, I can't remember her name, but she said that she watched the episode that we did, you, me, and Sam, and she goes, I really liked what you guys over there, so now I came over here to know you guys more over here as well. And I was like, wow, holy shit, that's insane. And I think Jordan was also one of them as well. And if so it's been really great, man. And
I got to thank you as well. One of our most liked episodes, and one of our was with you guys. That video hit 22 likes, and it's not too many times we've hit the 20s. So, like, honestly, that one helped us out a lot too. And the subscriber count, it was like, what, 650? Now it's about 680. And that's since that time. So I got to say thank you to you, because doing that podcast helped us. And I'm glad that, we were able to help you guys.
Like I said, and that's what's also really cool about this type of thing, is like, people that like you and like what you guys do, and meet the people you find interesting, might also find interesting, and then go over to them and listen to what they do and follow what they do and everything else. And it's fun. Like, it really is. Like, I do genuinely enjoy doing what I do. Like, Currently right now I'm home with the flu and an ear infection. I've been home since fucking Saturday. I'm feeling feeling better
I
now.
hope you're feeling better though.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've been home since Saturday. Today's been like the first day-ish where I haven't been too bad. But it's just been like I've been out of work throughout this week, so I've been going stir crazy. So like Monday I didn't even do a watch along. Tuesday I did the Universe Draft Day or whatever with Willie. Wednesday I did a watch along. Thursday I did my show. I just did today. And then there's nothing.
Love the gaming show, bro. And
Oh
I gotta admit,
I wanted to implement the gaming and shit too because I'm a big gamer and everything, and we are, I this is my first time home for the Summer Games Fest. It's where I get to actually watch it. So I'm just like, oh, okay. So I'm like, I'm gonna definitely take advantage of that and be home and be able to watch the Xbox Showcase on Sunday, which I'm going to stream, and the Starfield Showcase, which I'm going to stream live.
I'm definitely tuning in.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for that. And then I think I might do the Capcom one on Monday. I know the Ubisoft one is also Monday, so I'm going to be doing that one as well.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do a lot more streaming.
And I know you talked about in your stream you want to do current games. Do you have a lineup that you're looking forward to?
I do, but you know what? Let me grab my laptop charger real quick because I'm at 10%. I forgot to do that before when I grabbed my microphone. I knew I forgot something, but give me 1 second. Yes, I do. No, you're good. You're good. I do have a lineup. Yes. So give me 1 second, and I'm gonna tell you it.
All right. In that meantime, y'all, we're gonna take our hit. Actually, I'm surprised at 2.5 hours first hit of the night. I've been pretty good though because I took an Eddie later. In fact, though, it was only half of one. I got to be honest. So out of 200 milligrams, I did 100. So I'm feeling pretty good as of the moment. But the podcast is the podcast. The people expect what the people expect. And I want to take. Oh, hey, bros, coming in during radio shift for a bit. Wanted to say hi. And you're doing great. Thank you, Dylan. It's good to see you, bro. So, Dylan, this is my other Dylan. My bro that I was talking to you about that goes to college, and he made our intro. That's our man. And absolutely, bro, Jesus Christ is King of Kings. Absolutely, bro. Amen. And the devil hates Christians, even bad people, because he's the devil. He hates everything God created. Well, and he hated that, so he was the most perfect of all the angels. He felt that when God created humanity, humanity was ranked above the angels originally. And he didn't feel like he should have to bow to humanity, nor should he have to bow to God. He thought he was better than God and was going to take the throne of the Most High. And therefore, his pride kicked him out of heaven. All right? Not murder, not stealing, not lying. It was pride. And that's the sin that caused the devil to be kicked out of heaven. Now, he was not put into hell like everybody tries to make you think. All right? He was cast to the earth. And when he tempted Adam and Eve into biting into the snake, it caused a sin that caused the fall of humanity. But through the death on the cross and through the sacrifice of Jesus, that we are made free. And so, as long as you believe that he died on the cross for your sins and the world's sins to be forgiven, and that he rose on the third day, and that he is God forevermore, you will be saved. And it's something that is so simple, it's complex at the same time. But at the same time, I can tell you from personal experience, on more than one occasion, God has put his hand on my life. And if it wasn't for him, I don't know where I'd be, or better yet, who I'd be. And so even though I'm not perfect, I never will be. We all fall short of the glory. I will try to be better than the day I was before.
Right.
So each day that I look into the mirror, I see more of a representation of who God called me to be, rather than what my past says that I am.
I like that.
And so, thank you, bro. Thank you. And that's what I mean. Like, you're not defined by your mistakes, but nor are you defined by your successes. All right? You are defined by the person in here. Because, is so much, if we were defined by our successes, right? Vince McMahon would be considered a great man. Uh,
He definitely
it's
considers
not
himself a great man. I tell you that.
it's not our successes, but it's also not our failures that define us. It's him. And so if he can call you to be great, and he can call you to be lame. But at the same time, faith without works is dead. So you got to be willing to work hard and also put in that faith required to get where God wants you to be. And I think that's the thing too, is you get so many Christians saying, "Oh, if God wanted me to be rich, He would have done it already." Well, no. Um,
I love that.
you got to work for it. You know what I mean? I kind of see it like this: that if you work hard and you believe and you know what you're working for, you ought to have it. But if you're not putting into work, you cannot cry about something that you didn't work for. So you can't complain about what you didn't get from the work you didn't put in. And God feels that same way. But gratitude goes a long way. So if you got to be grateful for what you already have to receive more. And I'm sure you've probably felt this way on your podcast, right? Because I have too. It gets to be a lot. I'm recording day in and day out, and sometimes I'm drained. And sometimes I catch myself in complacency. And you know what I mean? Or if work was a long day.
I get very. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. And I have to remind myself that do you remember when you wanted a job? Do you remember when you wanted this podcast? Do you remember the times that you just hoped for more? So how are you going to complain about something that you asked for and you were given? Because it got hard. You know what I mean? If it was easy the whole way, it wasn't worth doing.
I never complained about this. I've never complained. Maybe because I don't have a lot of followers or whatever the case may be, which I'm not even mad about that, to be honest with you. I don't get mad at it. And I told myself that when I started, because I sat around and I really thought about doing this before just jumping into it.
You started February this year, right?
Well, the YouTube channel I started this year, the February this year, the January this year, 447.
So, okay, damn near 500. Bro, it took me one calendar year.
447.
Yeah, so I don't know what the secret to your success is. I think God's got a great hand over you.
I don't know fucking either. I don't know either. I'll be honest, I don't.
It took me one calendar year to get to 500. You guys have been on here since February. It's now June 9th. All right, that's insane.
We're about 53 away from hitting 500.
And you know what? You're going to do more than just 500. I bet you by February of next year. So one calendar year for you on YouTube. Think about that.
Okay, so that's actually the point I was just about to get to. So I'm such I know me and you and Sam talked about this prior, but I'm such a stickler. I'm such a micromanager that it is at times nauseating to other people. That's why, with Sam, it works. It kind of works out good for us that he's the yin to my yang or whatever the thing is. But normally I'm the guy that's like, we need to hit certain numbers. We need to do this. We need to do this. And when it came to this part, I only really cared about putting it out to certain dates. So for me, when I started doing this, I wanted to just stick to a schedule. As long as I
Okay.
stuck to a schedule and was on repeat, then I knew it will eventually come. So
Yes.
to me, that's my secret to success. I
So your
started consistency rule. I started on a Sunday. I started doing episodes Sundays, coming out Mondays. Every Monday was a brand new episode, starting the week off. Then after a while, I realized it wasn't working out for Sam and I to do Sundays. It became a hassle, really, and not just for him. Maybe it didn't become a hassle for him, but for me, it became a hassle because at that time I was working 6 days. I didn't have any days off. I started becoming tiresome. I feeling like I was just going through the emotions, and I didn't want to feel like that for the people listening. So what I did was I changed the plan, and I decided, how about Saturdays? So we tried Saturdays a few times. That didn't really work. Then we tried maybe pushing it closer to the afternoon because I tried to do it early in the morning so that way we could bang it out in the morning and then just not do it anymore for the rest of the weekend. And then that was it. That wasn't really working. So then I was like, you know what? I'm already working Monday through Friday. Like, let me just put them out on Thursdays. Like, no one's really dropping anything on Thursdays. There's no games coming out Thursdays. There's no nothing. Let me just do Thursdays. And at that time was when I started doing YouTube and stuff. So I was just like, you know what? We're changing the podcast to Thursdays. And since doing it Thursdays, it's been a lot easier for me. It's just a nice rotation. I already know what I'm looking forward to for the weeks to come. It's repetition again. It's consistency. And, even doing the shorts that, now that I'm sending you and I'm doing I send to Willie and I put for my channel. Like, as long as I stay consistent, it'll come. As long as I stay on these podcasts, it'll come. So to me, as long as I'm doing this, whether it's 6 days a week, 5 days a week, I'm good. I'm ready to go. It is what it is. Now, now that I'm,
and that's a principle to success.
Yeah, like I record. So if we really want to look at it, here live, I will literally give you my schedule, what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. So my real world job is Tuesday through Saturday. That's about 8 to 10 hours a day. So then Monday through Friday is work, podcasting work. That's Monday, Wednesday, Friday watch-alongs. That's Tuesday, Thursday podcasting days, one on one person's podcast, one on my podcast. Then if there's Saturday, Sunday pay-per-views, Saturday, Sundays as well. So sometimes it's 7 days a week. Then you want to count social media and stuff, that's 6 days a week. Then
Wait, you do your social media too?
I do everything myself.
Damn.
I do everything. I do the logos, I do the merch, I do the clips, I do the podcasts alone. I do everything alone. Sam comes in for the pay-per-views. Sam is my guy to come in for the pay-per-views, and it works perfectly that way. So
see, now I got to be honest. I respect your hustle because for me,
I'm 6 7 days a week. And
so
hold on a second.
designed
that doesn't include also Twitter Spaces that I'm on, which is sometimes 3 days out of the week. That's about wrestling. Then that's also coming up with ideas and stuff for the week. So yeah, roughly 7 days a week I work, and that's between real work and this. So yeah, it's all me. Like I come up with the ideas. I come up with the merch things. I am the founder, the owner, the number one guy of this podcast. My best friend
Yeah.
Sam is the thing that I need him for the most, and he does to the best, is the pay-per-views. Because when I come up with these crazy ideas like we just had recently, which was the dressing up as AEW superstars, having the entrances and stuff like that, that is something that, the idea was mine. I came up with that idea. But I needed Sam to implement that idea because I couldn't be Tony Khan, Tony Schiavone, Max Caster, Adam Cole, MJF all at once like he did. So
Yeah.
he definitely pulled his weight by doing that. Then,
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
and that's what I mean where I'm like really surprised is because I design, so like the logo for the channel. I told you Dylan did the intro, that was him. But I designed the logo. I designed the logos on all the t-shirts. I also am the one who did the first logo designs as well, did all the anchor stuff. I would just send JoJo the link. And I'm the one who edits all the videos here, and I was the one doing the shorts. But JoJo did the social media because I work 6 days out the week. Like my last pay period, I have 110 hours on, and on this current pay period that just started on the 1st, I've already got 65 hours on. And then, I'm doing the podcast 7 days a week. Every night when I didn't do it, it's because I did 13 hours at AT&T.
Yeah.
And so, always constantly working, but then I'm also putting money into the podcast. And then the money that we get from the t-shirts, I'm giving to JoJo because I want him to have an income as well. Because, I'm not going to ever discuss numbers, but I'm living pretty okay off of my checks.
Yes,
So,
sir.
for me, if I can help my brother out, got him. And
go ahead. No, go ahead.
and that's where, when we were doing Anchor, he was doing it off his phone, but his phone would die in like 30 minutes. So I went ahead and I bought him an iPad. And then, so we started streaming like we're streaming now. And then he put all his time and energy into all the social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, constantly promoting and messaging people. And that's, how you got to know us, was through him. And, and I can say that for so many others. And so then also doing the show with me for free for so many years and just being my best friend for the last 12 years, I look out for him. And so, that was the best thing about that. But he brings a dynamic that I can't. He's more of a passionate in-ring wrestling fan.
Yes,
I'm more of a passionate sports entertainment side of fan. I like more of the gimmicks and the characters. He likes the in-ring wrestling himself. So we bring in those two different perspectives, and then also you add in like the goofy ass out of whack shit sometimes, whether it's just me doing something funny or doing Vince's voice or just going or dying off the hits. There's that dynamic that's brought in, and then Dylan with the logos, he helped me in something I can't do. JoJo helps me in something I can't do. Even said I'm at work 6 days a week. I can't do the social media, so he's doing it for me. And I like to say hire your weaknesses because I don't need to hire my strengths. Like you said, you got that gift of gab, bro, and I already know I got it too. So I'm not going to necessarily hire somebody with that gift of gab, but what I'm going to do is if I can't edit videos, hey, I'm going to hire you to do it. And if I can't do social media, I'm going to hire you to do it. Yep. And, because only then do you grow. Because if I'm hiring my strengths, I got somebody competing with me. And that's where, something I had to learn along the way as well. But two, being grateful for everything. Because you got to be grateful for 100, 200, 300, and then the rest will come. But the more gratitude you show, the more likely you are to be successful. But also dedication and consistency. Denzel Washington again, another favorite quote, is that dreams without goals are just dreams, and ultimately they fuel disappointment. On the road to achieving your dreams, you must apply discipline and consistency. Because without dedication, you'll never start, but without consistency, you'll never finish. So to hear that, you're consistent and you're on top of things, I respect that. But I also know, what the grind takes on me, and I only have to assume that I know what the grind takes on you.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to branch out, Yeah.
It's a lot. I'll tell you that, because I mean, besides, I'll be honest. Like I'll say it. I'll say it here. I don't mind. Besides, I manage an Instagram, a TikTok, a Twitter, a YouTube, an Anchor. Then I make clips. I do my own live streams. I do my own logos. I do my own backgrounds, my own banners, my own YouTube design, my own website designs. I do something. I do the Twitter Spaces and stuff like that. But the biggest thing that I do that I think that keeps me the most educated is I listen to podcasts every day. And if it's not you guys, if it's not you or Willie or James or High Side of the Ropes, Cheap Wrestling Pops, anybody in the fantasy factions that I'm in,
you're damn good.
Yeah, like if I'm not listening to any of them, if I'm not listening to Kind of Funny or the Xcast or anything like that, I don't have any material. I don't have anything to go off on. I don't have that motivation to do anything, to create anything. Because for me, the way I create, the way I kind of maneuver is I listen to how everybody else has laid out the beautiful platform, and I kind of just see where I can fill in the holes of things that they might have missed. And to me, it makes it easier. Like if High Side, if Cheap Pops, if Wrestling Network, all of them did the same 7 topics that I was going to do Thursday, then I'm only going to do 3 ones that maybe you guys didn't fully talk about, and then maybe have a fun one to throw in there, and then that's it. So you guys almost, I'll be honest, you guys almost kind of do the work for me in a way, but at the same time, it's just like by the time your episode drops, mine already came out, but by the time the other person's came out, 2 other ones, including mine, already came out. So it's just like timing of everybody is different. Like we all do these watch alongs, which is cool. Like you guys do reviews. We don't really do that over on Willie, on that. But soon, like on last week, come next week, we're going to be doing AEW stuff. So starting next Wednesday, I guess I'm making an announcement on your show, but starting next Wednesday on the Last Week of Wrestling podcast, we're going to be doing watch-alongs for AEW as well as Collision on the Saturdays. So soon, that's what that's going to be. And Willie's just going to take care of Monday night and Friday night SmackDown, which is good because he has Universe Mode and stuff like that. So it kind of, we kind of help out one another with doing that and stuff. So it's nice.
I love how you're a student of the game, too.
Yeah, no, I need to learn because, like, you guys do things differently. Yeah.
And that's what I respect about you guys the most is, and I think I can say for credit, and once again, I hope that and anything I say, I don't sound bragful, but if we go to 2 years ago, there was not a lot of cannabis wrestling podcasts. I don't even think there was one. And, now there's a few popping up. That's something that meant a lot to me because I've always hated that out of any sport, wrestling has the most athletes to die at a very young age. And a lot of it is due to alcohol and the pills.
Yep.
And knowing cannabis has done covers, I tried to bring that into the show to show like, hey, you know, this too is a medicine. And like, do you see me being funny off of it? Hell yeah. But it's something that very much helps me on a day to day, both professionally, personally, and on the podcast. And, you know, I would attribute it to a big part of, you know, being where I am now.
Yeah.
Because the best 10 prescription medications. And I
Yeah.
talk about, you know, from having so much trauma to the head, where crazy thoughts. I'm not justifying it, but I'm saying I understand it. And I kind of wonder if we knew now, if we knew then what we know about cannabis now, and we could have gave that to him, I wonder, you know,
Yeah, would things be different?
live. You know what I mean?
Probably. You know, sometimes yes, sometimes no. It all depends. But no, like, you know, going to your student of the game thing, it's like when, like, it goes back to my music time. Like, I go back to it a lot because, like, in that time I did that. I learned. I listened. I went back to the 80s and I learned where it originated from and the DJs that kind of made it popular, the DJ Cool Hercs, the you know, real B-boys and everything, the Sugar Hill gangs, you know.
Oh, you know your shit. Damn.
Yeah, like, you know, like Kumo D, Busy B, Rock Kim, Eric B, you know, how then it transformed into like more rhyme game and
Yeah, the
everything
boom
like
of the
that.
90s.
I wanted to learn as much as I thought I knew, and then I wanted to learn more on top of it. So like when I made music, or when I wanted to make music, I should say, like I really wanted to make sure, like my biggest thing was being true, because a lot of the times musicians nowadays, or at least for hip hop, it's a lot of the same bullshit. They're braggadocious about things that aren't things that we shouldn't be talking about, and it makes that genre not as tasteful as it should be.
And that's where I like Tupac Shakur's a lot better. You know, or even into his own right. I know Kevin Gates is kind of out there, but when he's actually singing about real life shit, you can tell.
It makes the genre look good again. But it
Exactly.
doesn't make the genre look good when you're talking about gun violence and shooting people.
Hookers and blow.
Yeah, like that's, and degrading the women and stuff like that. But, you know, then we can't really, you know, then how do we allow Snoop Dogg to get away with it? And it's just like, all right, well, there's a difference
Snoop is
between
Snoop.
what people saying compared to what they're saying. Like, you know, but that's a whole different episode, which I have no problem doing an episode on hip hop. And honestly, like I had from the High Side of the Ropes guys, Brandon, I told him that we have to make an episode about hip hop, and I think Nick is going to join us on that. So I might get that together soon, because I know August is the 50th or 51st year anniversary for hip hop. So I want to do it around there. But nonetheless, the point what I was trying to make was I studied. I wanted to learn. I wanted to know as much as I could. So that's why I follow guys like us. I follow guys that are above us. The Chris Vanderbleeks, the Stone Cold Steve Austins, the Bubba Ray Dudley.
What Culture Wrestling, Wrestle Talk.
Yeah, I wanted to learn what they did, and like what makes me want to do this and everything. And like, to me, like the more I know, the more I can implement into my stuff, and the things that like they're doing that I didn't want to touch, I'm not even going to bother. But for me, it's just like I enjoy talking news related stuff with wrestling. I enjoy having those conversations with people. I enjoy having other people come on and give, their opinions and stuff on there and everything. Yeah. So to me, like that's my strong suit. That's where I fit very perfectly in. And for me, like that works for me for now, and it's definitely that the legs to the table that I'm building.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
that I want
to
to
your
have
point,
more stuff.
and to your point, Dylan, knowledge is power. And I
Yeah.
study you guys. I study I study Willie. I'm studying Bone Breaking Actions channel. I'm studying High Side of the Ropes. I'm studying Wrestle Talk, What Culture, JD from NY.
JD's too funny.
Denise
I
from
can't take him seriously. I just find him too fucking funny that I'm like, he's almost pure entertainment for me. When I see him on TikTok and he's like, it's trash, it's shit, I don't know what's fuck wrong with him, and I'm like, oh god, what did he say
he was
now?
the
Like,
reason he was the reason I wanted to bring entertainment to the podcast.
yeah. But like, and
And
what's nice is like, because like, there's so many people like us that decide to do these things, and then just assume within 3 months their worlds are gonna change, and it's like not at all in the slightest. Like it's been 4 months, and I'm still in the same spot. I might have grown on social media. I might now have other people, like the day that I'm not even going to lie to you. The day that High Side of the Ropes added me on Instagram and said, "We like what you do. We found you for what you're doing, and we want to have you on our show." I was like, I made it. To me, that means I made it. If somebody that I didn't even know that they existed at the time, but the fact that they wanted to have me on their show, I was like, holy shit. So I literally went to the first episode that they did, and I just listened. And I just kept going and going and going and going and going. I skipped a couple episodes if they got a little repetitive or whatever. Then I got more to the current stuff. And then I kind of stepped it up to where I was current. Like I'm watching the current stuff now. A brand new episode just came out from them. I just watched their Jacko episode, which was a very good episode. I actually should see if I could try to get him on the podcast because I would love to talk to him about some things that they brought up on their show. But I would love to have him on mine. I love to be on High Side of the Ropes again very soon. Hopefully that happens because they're very great guys over there.
absolutely.
Useless and Yusef, I think his name is, Brandon and Nick, and I know them on a personal level. I know them on a professional level now, and they're very great guys, and they're very good guys. They invited me to a fantasy faction that made me get introduced to Wrestling Network and Cheap Pops and them, and they've been so friendly and so kind, and it's been just a very interesting journey. But to people like me, that is just that 100 subscribers, 50 subscribers, 20 subscribers, now at 400 and something subscribers, and I'm just like I want to just do more. That's why like now I'm like, let's do gaming, like let's see what we could do with that, because I could implement that in so many ways. Like going to what you were saying, like, do I have a lineup? Yeah, absolutely. I definitely have a lineup. Like, Life of P was something that I was just like, oh, that looks interesting. You know what? Let me start the stream today with that. And it worked. It did really well. I had like 4 or 5 people on there total. And it was a very good stream and it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I know you were there and everything. I think JoJo stopped by and stuff as well. So, I want to thank you for that and stuff.
Oh,
but
of course.
I think the next game we're going to do is AEW Fight Forever. And then on top of that, we're going to do.
I just pre-ordered.
Yeah, I know. I got to get my hands on a pre-order copy. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. But I'm going to do Assassin's Creed Mirage. I wanted to do some other games that are coming out. Alan Wake 2. I think that's coming out this year. Yes,
will you be getting Spider-Man 2 in the fall?
Yes, I will be getting Spider-Man 2. I already put it on my list. Let's see. Hold on. July 1st. No, July.
And I love that you write your stuff down too, because that's also a principle of success.
I have a calendar full of shit. I mean, it just is crazy.
But it may not seem like things are happening fast, but I promise you they're happening fast. Like
to me, this is very fast. To me, the speed that we're going at right now for Last Week in Wrestling is faster than I thought it was going to be when making the one podcast episode. So
And I just want to give you your props while you're on your way up, before you've already hit your 100,000 subscribers. I just want you to know that you got this shit, and I really do believe in you.
Thank you, man. No, man, it's I think you guys are definitely going to be right there ahead of me for sure. I'm very excited to see you guys grow. You guys have a great channel over here and are doing really great things. I like that you implement a lot of realism besides just wrestling takes and stuff between like religion and cannabis and the benefits and everything else. I enjoy the humor that you guys do on here with you and JoJo and stuff. I check it out. I check it out every Monday. I check it out every Wednesday, every Friday. You see me in the chat. I do say
yes,
hi
sir.
all the time. I'm always there. I'm either there for like 10, 20 minutes, especially if I'm working. I got to go to bed, unfortunately, but I am there. There's sometimes where I stayed the whole entire night. I just didn't say anything, but I kept
I feel you. I got to work in the morning myself.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I mean, to me, like, this is just, it's a fun ride. I can't imagine it getting faster than this. I know will eventually, and I feel like I'm ready for it, but I would like a little bit more time, if possible, before we get there, because I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what is going to happen next.
Hopefully, in the next thing I want to see for you guys is I want to see you get that 100,000 play button. I know it's in your future. I know it is, man.
That would be crazy. I hit 100,000. I get that play button. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but
honestly, what you gotta do is be like Seth Rollins when he won at WrestleMania 31, swing the
I'm gonna have to drill like a hole and put like a strap around it so that way I could swing it around and shit. But yeah, I mean, trust me, man. Like it's a wrestling podcast, yes, but I'm not just a wrestler. I'm a wrestling fan. I'm a fan of gaming. So now we're gonna be doing this gaming thing, and we're gonna now do the watch-alongs on the show too and stuff. So that's really exciting. But Spider-Man 2 for sure. I wanted to get an Xbox and everything to do Starfield and other games like that, but I found out I can't do it. I can't stream it directly to YouTube. I'd have to go to Twitch for that.
Yep.
Which sucks. But, because all my subscribers and everybody's on YouTube. So it's just like I'd have to start all over again, I feel, and then possibly push them over to Twitch and everything. So I'm debating on that, but
one thing you could do is like what I was telling you we're doing here on Restream. So I'll be honest, I pay $20 a month, and it allows me to stream on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. I could do up to 5. I don't know how to do Instagram Live, I'm gonna be honest. But it allows us to do this to where we can stream on everything. I don't know necessarily how you would do that working from a PlayStation or an Xbox, but just from here on my iPad, it's real easy to do all three. So if you're looking to kind of, merge and build that Twitch audience, you can really bring that audience over from YouTube too. Yeah,
I'm going to, because I want to get an Xbox anyway. Like I'm a big fan of State of Decay. I'm a big fan of what the Starfield game is looking like. So I definitely want to play it. I know there's going to be other Xbox games in the future that I'm going to be like, I need to play this. So, and I'm most likely going to get it no matter what. And, I say now, like, the Xbox showcase is going to be the final decision for me to get an Xbox or whatnot. But I pretty much have made up my mind. I'm going to get it anyway. It doesn't really make sense to me. So, when, I just don't know yet. I might get it in September when Starfield comes out, because that's the game I'm kind of the most excited for Xbox.
I can tell you Black Friday, bro, or Cyber Monday.
Yeah, I could wait. I could wait till Christmas and do all of that, but I might just do it come Starfield Day. Be like, all right, give me my Xbox, give me my Starfield, thanks, appreciate it, later. Like, call it a day. Because
Facts. Because they're becoming more find in like Walmarts and stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, every time I'm in a Walmart or Target or something, I always see one. So, I know that they're available. I know they're around. So, it's not like...
Because, when it first came out, it was a pain in the ass. Like, to get my PS5, bro, I had to, like, jump through hoops.
Yup.
And, so, I mean, I'm grateful that I have it because, honestly, when they first went on sale, I missed the bitch. And then every other couple sales they would do, it would sell out in like 2 minutes. So I just I'd get it in my cart, refresh, it was gone. And I'm like, and so it was about.
You want to know a crazy story? You want to know a crazy story about PlayStation? So my Sam used to work for GameStop many moons ago. And Sam's buddy who worked for GameStop, I don't know if he still does, but I don't even remember the guy's name, so that it helps with the story. Anyway, he texted Sam when we were driving by, and he goes, PlayStations just went up for pre-sale, for pre-order. So Sam's like, we got to turn around. We got to pre-order the PlayStations. I was like, okay. So we turned around. He pre-ordered the physical, the disc version. I pre-ordered the digital because at that time, I was a big fan of buying the game digitally. Like, I didn't really need the disc. I didn't really need the physical copy anymore. I kind of grown out of that.
What about the collector's editions?
If the collector's editions were worth it, then I'd buy the game for the collector's edition. So, like, I bought the collector's edition for The Last of Us Part 2 because I'm a big Last of Us fan. So I did that. Yeah. When The Last of Us Part 1 for the PlayStation 5 came out, I bought the collector's edition that came with the comics, that came with the steelbook case, which I have here, like here. I have the PlayStation 3 version of The Last of Us. Which is the one that got me back into gaming. And then, of course, I got the steelbook of The Last of Us Part 1 for PS5. Okay?
That's dope as fuck.
Yeah, and then this is, it's a little hard to see, but it's like a little bit of the woods and everything, like in the actual thing itself. And then on The Last of Us Part 2 copy, you get the steelbook of Ellie on one side and then Abby on the other side. And then, of course,
that's dope.
You get the game. There's nothing for like the back of that. And then, of course, it's the 2 discs. Now, I already bought this digitally when I was home during COVID. So I already have the copy digitally installed. So this is a backup copy in case whatever may come.
I got to tell you a story with Last of Us 2. I bought it on launch day, and it was right before the pandemic. And fucking, I remember I had just got home with it, downloaded it, played it, and I was only about an hour in. And you already know what I'm about to talk about. Fucking Joel dying, bro. I fucking threw my controller against the wall. I was fucking done with that game. I waited so many years for a second game for this fucking bullshit. I was like, what the fuck? And then I thought, okay, I had to actually go on a walk. I came back about an hour later, and I was like, okay, I'm going to give the game the rest of the night. Maybe Ellie gets revenge, right? How about no? She has 2 chances at revenge and doesn't fucking take it. And I'm like, what?
You know the reason, right? Like, I want everybody to realize there was a point to that. There was a point to Ellie not doing that. So I'm now my nerd side of shit's gonna come out, and I'm about to go on this very long, elaborated story of the reason why. So it goes back to Left Behind. If we remember in Left Behind, we were come up with, and spoilers for anybody that hasn't played any of these games yet, but and yourself
you have
now.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, we got plenty of time to play it, and you should have played it. So in Left Behind, you get Riley and you get Ellie. And there's a moment in there where, unfortunately, while they're hanging out in the mall, they get attacked. They both get bit. Now, we find later on that Ellie has to kill Riley.
Yes.
So when she's with Joel, she's being the child that Joel lost, which is Sarah.
Yes.
And as she learns more about Joel, Joel learns more about her. And as he starts seeing her, she starts seeing her more as his child that he lost. So as the game evolves and that happens, and we get to the scene where we're at with the doctors and everything, Joel's willing to do whatever it takes now, because now it's in his control finally to make it, whether it's his journey or their journey. And he chooses his journey, which is to have what he lost, which was Sarah. But now it's in Ellie. So that's what happens for part one. So part two comes. Now, many years have moved on, and Tommy and everybody have now built this community, Jacksonville, and it's this bright, beautiful, brand new future. Ellie's a lot older now. She's experiencing new things. She's experiencing her sexuality. She's experiencing new life, new friendships along the way. As she has to witness Joel dying, the first thing and the first call to action, of course, is revenge. But as she learns that revenge is the only thing she knows, she has to realize what Joel has taught her, which is that everything that he had to go through as a survivalist has shaped him to be this cold-hearted, brutal person. And the only person that broke him out of that anger and revenge was Ellie. And now that he is gone, he does not want her to follow in those footsteps. So when you come to the second part of taking out Abby in the water, she starts seeing Joel. And that itself was her sign. That is what Joel was breaking into her head, that no matter what the lengths are, no matter how far you have to go, no matter how far revenge may push you, you cannot end up the way that I did, because there is nobody for you to break you out and make you that human you once were again. Now, mind you, Ellie's a soldier. She's a fighter already. So she already has combat training. So, of course, she could have killed Abby in both turns, like no matter what. But she realized that, she looked into the water and realized that Abby isn't the reason she's mad. She's mad at herself for getting herself to this point, to where now she's lost the only love of her life, which was her girlfriend, her baby that they shared together because of their friend, and the life that she threw away because of this revenge that she sought out after. So if she were to kill Abby, the things that she lost, she knows she would never regain. So that's why the game brings you back to the house. And as you leave the house, you have these two journey paths. You have the path back to Jacksonville, which is you try to gain everything back. You can try to start over, maybe gain, I can't remember the girlfriend's name at the moment, but you get your girlfriend back, the baby back, you rebuild that family over again, because she said it. If you walk out of this house, you're not just leaving me, you're leaving everything behind as well. And we won't be back here when you come back. When you come back to that house, there is nobody there anymore. So she's lost everybody now twice. And that's what stains and pains Ellie the most. Because besides...
So due to revenge, she lost it all.
Right. So instead of just losing Joel as her family, she lost her family that she built because of her actions. So when you are faced with that truth at the end, with the two paths, where either you could go off and start your brand new journey, or you could go off and go back to what you know, which is comfort food, you now have a choice at hand. And what the choice will be, we don't know until Last of Us Part 3. But to me, most likely she's going to go back to the house. She's going to go back to Jacksonville and rebuild what she lost and come back and try to be the person that she knows she already was once and can go back to being again. So that's why
That's deep.
Yeah, so that's why in that game, when you're faced with those two moments, The moments aren't the fact that the revenge is the sweetness that you want. It's the fact that if you do what you're about to do, there is no turning back. Tommy's
Right.
You've now inflicted pain on a community that doesn't deserve the pain that you were unfortunately costed. The things that Joel did to keep you alive were his sins he had to pay for.
Right.
His death was what his payment was. Your death doesn't need to be the same. Abby's death doesn't need to be the same. Abby's sin will be paid for in due time.
And so it's like, just because you kill out of the name of justice doesn't mean you're really causing justice. Because if you look at Abby's side, she was killing Joel for justice. If you look at Ellie's side, she was going to kill Abby for justice. But really, there's no justice on either side, because fighting for peace just causes more fights.
When she killed Joel, what happened? Nothing. She was still upset. She was still angry. She was still bitter. It didn't bring her father back. It didn't give her the closure that she wanted. And Neil Druckmann, the creator, wanted you to see it. He wanted you to see what would have been the choice Ellie made if she were to have killed Abby, which is, you've now lost Owen. You've lost the girlfriend that Owen was married, was going to marry to, the kid, a long way, because you killed everybody. We killed everybody.
Right.
All right, we killed everybody. We killed the pregnant lady. We killed the boyfriend. We killed them all. We didn't give a fuck. We wanted Abby. We wanted Abby. In any way, shape, and form, we wanted Abby. We were going to get there. So if we did and followed suit with what Abby did to Joel, what we wanted to do to Abby, there was nothing but just a repetitious, same cycle of evil that was just going to continue. And there's already evil out in the world that they're in currently. So what would be the point, and what is the actual closure you get? You see it with Abby. There is no closure. There is nothing still for her. She's grasping at air still. Even though Joel is dead, she is grasping at air. So if Ellie wanted to grasp at air, all she had to do was
kill Abby.
Right. And now that she got Abby to the point where Abby now is deteriorated. She's gone. She's beaten. She's battered. She's bruised. She's lost everything. Now she could lose her life to Ellie. But Ellie didn't want to be Abby. Because she knew, like Joel said, if you want that bad, you are going to learn that there is nothing for you on the other side. And that's why you didn't kill her. It's crazy.
That just changed my whole thought process.
Dude, it's so funny when people are like, fuck the game, fuck the transgender thing, fuck all of that shit. It's like, nah, you're missing the whole entire game. This whole game is about revenge and what love will do to get that revenge back at any cost. And you see it already happening, unfolding with Abby. The moment Joel dies, you've seen it unfold, what revenge will cost. And then
that's such a profound lesson in life too.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because I think about my own things, like that I struggle with forgiveness, and like, the things you want revenge for, even if it's rightly so. And I'm just like, damn.
What's the point? It doesn't bring Joel back. It doesn't bring her father back. It just continues the cycle, and there's nothing for either one of them at the end of it. But now what's crazy is at the end of the journey, when you see Abby and the boy together on their own path, Abby now is going to be set with a new life perspective, which is, now that she didn't kill me, I now have a new obstacle ahead of me. And it's now to defend and to protect this child and to find out who these new factions are in the game that we did see a little bit of. So
Right.
Abby's journey really begins in part 3, while Ellie's journey really began in part 2. And Joel's journey began in part 1.
And so that actually makes a lot more sense, and that actually makes me appreciate the story that at first, like I said, I just said, fuck it.
You're welcome.
So thank you.
When Joel died, I tell you now, I had Sam on the phone with me. He was at work at GameStop. And you know what's funny? He goes, what part are you up to right now? And I go, Abby just found Joel. And he goes, you're not going to like what's going to happen. And I go, what's going to happen? He goes, I'm not going to speak anymore. You're not going to like what's going to happen. Because he doesn't play the games. You know, he got it spoiled or whatever. He didn't really care. But he goes, you're not going to like what happened. And I go, what's not going to happen? What am I not going to like about what's going to happen here, man? Tell me now. He's like, no, I'm not ruining this for you. I'm not ruining this for you because there's a lot going on and I don't want to ruin this for you. And I said, okay. And then I go, why does Abby have a golf club? Why does that? Oh, that bitch. That son of a bitch. I screamed. I think the whole house shook. Like, I wanted to take the fucking monitor and throw it out the window. I didn't want to play the game anymore. I didn't. I was how could you take away Joel? But then as you play the game and you continue on and you read on and you follow the story and you understand what's going on and the story that's being told now, you understand that Joel had to pay for his sins. He had to. Mm-hmm. Whether it was in part 1, in a DLC, or part 2, he had to pay for his sins. Now, Ellie's turn. It is Ellie's journey. Does she have to follow suit in Joel's footsteps? Or is she going to be what Joel made her already, which was his savior? And that's what she chose, was his savior. That's how she remained living in the presence and keeping his memory alive, is by not killing Abby and letting her go. Saying, I don't ever want to see you again. If I ever see you again, I will fucking kill you. And I know I can do it. But it won't happen because she doesn't want to be like Joel. Because Joel, remember, he killed innocent children, men, women, burned them, beat them, shot them, stabbed them, cut them up, did whatever.
He wasn't a good guy.
He wanted to be a survivalist because at this time, everything was scarce. The government was taking over. There was these things called clickers, these zombie-like creatures that were coming out, that were coming in hordes, these viruses that were being taken by these spores that were created. So there was something, there was elements of things that were out of his control. So he knew the only way to stay in control was to be the only one that was in control. And that meant whatever it means to be. So that's, by any cost, by any means. And if you watch the show, if you watch the TV show, which I highly recommend on HBO, it does a really good job of retelling part 1. It gives a really good job of kind of giving you those moments that you didn't understand and now will understand a lot better. It gives you, of course, the Left Behind DLC, which was really good because you have to remember, Ellie was a child.
She wasn't really developed in the first game until the DLC.
As an adult when she had to kill her best friend. That was the day that Ellie turned from 14 to an adult. Was the day she had to kill her girlfriend, her first kiss, her first love. She loved this girl. It wasn't just a friendship. It wasn't just a best friend. This woman she saw her life with, her future with. This was who she wanted to be with. And then now her hanging out and bullshitting around in the mall costed Riley her life. She had to remain with that guilt forever. But Joel And being with Joel kind of let her grieve a lot easier. And then, of course, unfortunately, being able now to shoot now grown men, and then almost being, sexually assaulted by one man in the game and everything, like that all took a toll on her. That started shaping her towards part 2, that we didn't really know what was happening.
Where she doesn't really give a fuck. She's more silent and unpredictable.
Right.
She's not joking Ellie that we first knew.
Right. And then when you see her in part 2, now what's really crazy is that in part 2, you get a little bit of a backstory of like what kind of happened between 1 and 2. And when Joel admits to Ellie why he did what he did, she hates him for it. Because she's like, you could have reversed everything that's happening now. You could have let everything.
But do you save the one for the many, or instead of the many, or do you save the many instead of the one? And because he had lost the daughter.
That's the question: is do you lose Sarah twice? Is losing
Sarah
twice worth it? And it wasn't worth it the first time, and it wasn't worth it the second time. That's why
I think he still feels guilty.
Of course. And that's why when you see him start getting beaten and everything, and he's telling Ellie, look at me. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. It's because he knows his end is near. He knows that he has to pay for his actions. But his actions were out of love. And when Ellie realizes that, she now has to sit with that uncomfortable pain again, alone again, like she did with Riley. Where now, this man loved me so much. He saw his daughter in me, that now I gotta grieve without him. I don't know if I can do that.
You know what's crazy about that?
Takes over.
It kind of teaches me to appreciate people, because she couldn't appreciate what he did while he was alive, because she had the anger for not saving society. And it wasn't until his death that she actually really appreciated what he had done for her. But by that time, it was too late.
She says it too. I wish I said it was okay. But when you see the flashbacks of them having the conversations, and they have that last conversation at his house, and they're having coffee, and she goes, I can forgive you for what you've done, but I don't know when we can be the same again.
Right.
He's happy that she forgave him, and he's happy that there's a chance that he can
rebuild
his daughter again. Right.
And
it's a very powerful game. It's a very powerful game. It's a very powerful game.
And that just honestly hits deep. That's just beautiful.
It's huge.
I hate to cut it short, but I do got to work in the morning.
That's fine. Now let's talk for a while.
It's already almost 1 a.m, but I do appreciate you going seriously, and I love having you on. And I know somewhere down the road we'll do another.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate coming on. It's always fun.
And shout out to Last Week in podcast. Please give them a like, comment, subscribe. And honestly, this was really therapeutic for me. And so I just want to tell you thank you, bro, because there was something deep in that for real. And before I send this out, I'm going to hit us with the first, actually, this is crazy, out of 3.5 hours, the first hit of the night. So, yes, sir. The longest I think I've ever recorded without smoking. So,
wow, there you go. Another achievement.
Yes, sir. It can be done. But, yeah, I've been pretty good, though, because I took an edible earlier before we went. And so that's set in pretty nice. But I just got this new banger, and so I got to test her out. So, actually get that in view of the camera.
Yeah, it's a pretty piece.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. And I love the carb cap on this too. And because it makes this shit spin like a beast. And because most carb caps usually fucking suck, but I don't know why. These are really good. So there we go. It's liquidated. Okay, boom. Yep. All right. Good night and peace out, everybody. And thank you, Dylan, again for joining on.
Absolutely.
Please leave a like, comment, subscribe to him, and leave a like, comment, subscribe on this video. And thank you guys so much. We love you.